welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button down below. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live out now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as we go along if you're enjoying the content. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, 47 asexual stories, love, life and sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. This is 47 real life asexual stories in there, including my own. And I'm also the founder of asexualise.com and the founder of Asexualise Academy, which is the world's first online training centre and school for asexuals and asexuality. And don't forget, give this video a thumbs up as we go along if you're enjoying the content. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about how to have a loving, happy, healthy, sex-free forever relationship. Hi, Philip. Yeah, this is going to be amazing. So how to have a loving, happy, healthy, sex-free forever relationship. So it's one definitely for asexuals to watch, and it's also very relative for partners or prospective partners of asexuals who have never considered really a sex-free life before, or, you know, they've been brainwashed to believe that you can only have a loving, happy, long-lasting, forever relationship if you're having sex, right? Because that's what all the dating coaches, the traditional dating coaches teach, right? That if you're not having sex, your relationship is dead in the water, to quote one of the quite famous dating coaches out there, which I think is quite appalling. And I actually, to start off, will tell you that I watched that video and I saw in the comments below there was this one woman in that when she watched the video who said that actually her and her husband, I think it was her and her husband, or her and her partner, don't have sex. Well, they can't at the moment because there's some issue. And they were all going, oh, well, you know, in the comments, well, you need to have sex. And I actually intervened and said, well, you know, it's fine if you're not having sex. You can still have a loving, happy, healthy relationship without it. And she said that I made her feel better. And it was really nice that I came and commented and spoke to her, you know, because everyone else is saying, oh, there's something wrong with your relationship. Things are not going to go well if you don't change what you're doing and all the rest of it. And I was going there, no. And she said, oh, actually, there's a lot of love between me and my partner. Just we're not doing that at the moment for some reason. I think presumably physical reason or trauma or something. And I, you know, because I don't think they're asexual, but you never know. And so, yeah, and so it was really important that I said that, because it's so horrible when you've got people trying to, you know, in the comments, basically like making you feel bad about yourself for not having sex, like something's going to go wrong in your relationship, like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Do you know what I mean? And creating this fear mindset. And that's the problem with traditional dating, is it's based around sex. So obviously sex sells. So if the people in the comments are not having that, then it's not going to go with the video. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people that watch the video are going to be thinking you should be doing that. So I'm here to set the record straight as an asexuality coach. And I do a lot about dating and relationships on this channel, specifically targeted and geared towards asexuals. And asexual, in case you didn't know, if you're new to this channel, asexual is the lack of sexual attraction. So an asexual person, as in asexual altogether, one word, is if you think of a meaning absence of sexual attraction, yeah? So for example, with me, I don't get sexually attracted to guys, even though I'm romantically attracted. So I'm only attracted to guys, right? Never women, because I'm not a lesbian or a homo romantic, which is like the female equivalent of, well, the gay equivalent, I should say, of you know, like a homosexual. The gay asexual gay equivalent would be a homo romantic, someone who's romantically attracted to someone but not sexually, right? But I'm a heteromantic. So hetero meaning I'm attracted to the opposite gender, male, and I'm attracted romantically to them, not sexually, right? So I don't ever get the need, urge, or want for partner sexual intercourse. It doesn't happen. Even if I'm really super attracted to the person, even if I, in my case, feel some arousal when I kiss the person or talk about kissing, you know, or even any touching, then I would not want to have sex with that person. I'm not interested in intercourse. It doesn't do anything for me, and I'm not sexually attracted, so I'm not wanting to jump their bones. Do you see what I mean? Which is opposite of what quite a lot of society has. So how can you have a very, very healthy, loving, happy, forever sex-free relationship, right? How does that work if you're not having sex, right? And you're like, Well, if you're not having sex, what are you doing with all that time, right? Well, that's quite the beauty of an asexual relationship. You've got plenty more time to do other things together that's not surrounded by that, which sex, to be quite honest, is usually used as a patch up for things between couples. Yes, there's some lust and all that lot, and yes, they can like it sometimes, but a lot of the time when things go wrong in the relationship, it's like have sex and that'll make it better, and no, it doesn't. It's just like sticking, having a great big open wound and you're sticking a tiny plaster on it, right? It doesn't work, right? Okay. So anyway, we need to go right back to basics. And before you even get into a relationship with anyone, be it asexual or sexual or any type of relationship, right, you need to have the right mindset. So in order to have a loving, happy, healthy, sex-free relationship, or any relationship, because a lot of these principles will apply to relationships in general, there has to be the right mindset there in the first place, right? So you have to have the right frame of mind. So for example, with me, I've been searching for my asexual soulmate for a long time. I've met this wonderful, beautiful British guy who I wasn't expected to meet because I usually attracted to foreign guys, particularly Indian, as you know, if you watch his channel. And so, yeah, that's quite different for me lately, but it's really good because he ticks a lot of my boxes, actually. But the thing is I was ready for a relationship. Do you know what I mean? So first of all, you have to get in the mindset of being ready for a relationship before you receive the relationship, you know. So the universe won't give you what you want until you're ready to get it. Do you see what I'm saying? If you believe in law of attraction, if you believe in the spirituality and stuff like that, you know, you won't get what you want unless you're ready to receive it. Do you see what I mean? So you have to put yourself in the right frame of mind. It's so important. You have to have the mindset of, okay, so if this person was theoretically in my life right now, like how many times a week would I like to see them? How would I behave towards them? How would I treat them? How would I speak to them? How would I incorporate them into my life? What type of relationship would that look like? How would it feel? How would it be? What do you want it to look like? You know, so you have to be thinking well in advance about all these types of things that you want before they'll come to fruition. Because if you don't know what you want, you'll get all the rubbish coming your way, right? As we all know, if we don't know what we want, we say, yeah, we're open to anything and everything, then you get all the anything and everything piling into your plate. Now, I do like this British guy that's watching this channel right now, Philip. Hello, darling. So he's amazing and actually ticks loads of my boxes, despite not being Indian, that I've been after for ages, and despite not being asexual actually as well, but he's super supportive of my asexuality. So he is different in a bit, but in terms of the personality, the type of relationship I wanted, he's quite spot on. So yeah, there's a lot of the type of relationship I want. I like a teenager style relationship, 24/7, 365 days a year, permanently, because I'm super young. I don't want to get old and be with a bloke that's even remotely near my birth certificate age that would make me feel really old and I have nothing in common with, right? Because I'm not that type of person. Just because my piece of paper says otherwise, I know different. So, you know, we've got tons in common. We're very similar on things. And he's also a very strong man for me at the same time as being like a young kid like myself. So I like that, you know, because I'm a really strong girl, but yet I'm like a kid as well at the same time. I've got business intelligence. Yeah, I'm like a teenager in my lifestyle. So that is perfect in that way. So we've only just met each other as well, but it's like really good. It's like, wow, this is so cool. Like you just kind of know that it works. Do you know what I mean? You're welcome. Yeah, so it's like kind of like very natural between me and him. It's really good. And so anyway, so what I was, you know, saying, you have to have the right mindset. You have to know as well before anything else, right, is that being in a relationship is a full-time job. If you can't accept that, if you think it's just a bit of playing around, then this is not, video's not going to be for you, because this video is how to create a loving, happy, healthy relationship that's sex-free forever, we're talking about. So we're looking at the long-term relationship. We're not talking about casual relationships. We're not talking about for 3 days. We're not talking about for 2 months. We're not talking about for 10 weeks. We are talking like long-term, right? So some people do casual relationships, right, which I don't recommend if you want a loving, long, happy, healthy relationship, right? Because we're talking about forever relationship. That's what the title was of this video. If you're just looking for a temporary relationship, then obviously there's other videos out there that you're welcome to watch. And this video is going to be no good to you because you're wanting something casual, right? For the time being, right? This video is not about that. This is about how to create a loving, long, happy relationship. This is like how to have it and sustain it. But I'm talking about the basic foundations you must have is that you are looking to have another full-time job. Now, you know, if people say, oh God, it's a full-time job, you're like, you know, you should actually be thinking, how am I going to manage that full-time job? Yeah, I work, or most people work, don't they? You know, you have to manage your own life, you have friends to see, you have hobbies and interests to do, and then you have to fit this person in. Now, if you don't realize that a relationship's a full-time job and you think it's going to be roses 24/7 365 days a year, yes, of course, as a teenager, like my lifestyle, I'd love it to be like that 24/7 365 days a year, but there's going to have to be work on both people's accounts. You know, you can't just like, do you know what I mean? You can't just pluck a relationship out of thin air and expect it to work. Like, even if you've got stuff in common, there's going to be stuff that you don't have in common. There's going to be things that aren't quite gelling with each other sometimes. You know, no, nothing's perfect. So you've got to think, how am I going to do that in advance? Like, and how am I going to be with the person? Like, so I've done a lot of work on myself to better myself for being in a relationship with someone else. Like, the way I act, the way I think, the way I behave. I'm not perfect. I still got work to do on myself. Yeah, I'll still continue to work on myself, right? But there are certain things now that I can do that I didn't do before, you know? And so you need to make sure you're in the very, very right mindset, that you know that it's going to be a full-time job, and that, you know, you're prepared to have that job, right, on top of all your other jobs you've got. That's how you have to think of it. I've got a relationship, I've a full-time job. Why is it a job? Why is a relationship a job, right? It's a job because you have to put in X amount of hours to do it right and do it well. If you don't have regular contact with that person, if you're not putting time, energy, effort, and actual hours in to being and seeing and spending time with talking to that person, it's not going to work. So you have to put time, energy, effort into that person, right? If you think of a relationship like you're like a customer, right? In terms of listening skills and abilities, right? So I've been in sales for a very long time, retail sales. I went from college for a brief time, I worked in newspapers, and then I went into retail sales, which I've been in particularly nearly all my life. And it's all about active listening, right? So say you had a customer that came into your shop, right, in your department in the shop, right? You'd have to approach them, ask them what they're looking for, all about their needs, their wants, their likes, their dislike, and match the products to their needs, right? And you're like, well, why are we talking about job, right? Why are we talking about this? Because it's you have to listen to your partner in a similar way, right? So you wouldn't have a customer come into your department and they say, hang on a minute, I'm watching this TV program. Hang on a minute, I'm swiping through my phone here. Sorry, I don't want to, you know, I can't talk to you at the moment. When that customer comes on your department, your attention is with them, right? Your time's with them. You're talking to them, you're finding out their wants, their needs, and how they are feeling. You know, you should be doing all these transferable skills from a job into a job in your relationship. Now, people probably haven't taught you this way of seeing relationships. They've probably never gone into this detail. But if you ever read my Break Through the Barriers of Redundancy book on Amazon, which is another book I've got out, I actually go through communication skills. Like, because I used to be a manager and I used to recruit as well as being someone who's recruited by other people. So I know both sides of the recruitment process, right? And if you read my book, there's different chapters all about different like skills, right? Life skills as well. And there's one about communication. It's all about body language and communicating with like people in a business should be how you're communicating with people in life, you know? Like the skills that you learn in a sales environment can be transferred to a friendship, family relationship, or indeed a partnership, you know, a love partnership, you know, lifelong love partnership, yeah, where you're married or not, right? And so you need to be attentive. You know, you wouldn't dare, well, I wouldn't dare, because I'd be sacked, right? If I had a customer come on the department and I start swiping my phone while they're talking to me, they'll just walk off and think, what's the point? This person's not listening to me. The same in relationships. You know, you have to be attentive to the person who's in front of you talking. You have to actively listen to them. So when you're in a relationship, right, or even before you get into a relationship, you have to be honing down your attention skills, your attentiveness, your communication skills. You have to be actively listening. So active listening is someone that's looking at you in the eyes, or at least the face, you know, that's paying attention to what you're saying, that's listening to you, that's like reciting back some of what you're saying to them to make sure they've heard you correctly, that's then interacting back with you, right? Excuse me, I need water. Right? And then, so that's like active listening. Passive listening is, for example, you're doing something else. So say I had a customer that came onto my department, right, and I was doing some cleaning and I didn't stop the cleaning, I carried on cleaning. That is passive. listening. They're talking to me while I'm doing something else. My attention is not with them. That is passive. You never excuse me. You don't want to be passive, you know? I mean, there might be times if you live together, for example, with a partner, that one of you's heading out the door or something and you're trying to grab something at the same time as you're talking to your partner. There are certain circumstances that might happen. But when, you know, you need to be making sure that when you see that person, you're setting time aside for them, you know, to actively listen to them and be in the moment with them, right? I mean, I tend to plan well in advance my diary, my schedule, right? Which I always recommend. You should always be scheduling time in with your partner at least once a week, a date night, right? You should be spending one day a week, ideally, with your partner, right? Or more. Right, so you've got like this date night. You've always got a night to each other. However long you've been in the relationship, where it's 2 months, 3 months, 6 years, you should be having like that date night or one day a week. You know, you don't have to have the regular date if you prefer it to be irregular. You should be scheduling time in with each other, right? Your calendar should have dates where you're doing stuff together, and your diary should have dates when you're doing stuff together, so that you've always got stuff in advance to look forward to together, right? These are the fundamental foundations of any long-lasting, loving, healthy relationship, right? If you're not having quality time together, you're not going to have quality time. You're going to, the relationship's going to deteriorate, because you're going to feel that I'm just like being taken for granted now, right? And this is another thing you have to make sure before you get into a relationship, that you really want it badly. Because if you really want a relationship badly, say you've wanted a relationship for a very, very long time, you're more likely to be attentive in the relationship. You're more likely to want to stick at it and have longevity. You're more likely to want to not take that person for granted, because you know how hard it is to get someone for you in the first place that fits and matches your needs. Sure, it's easy for anyone to get anyone, like in a nightclub or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's not difficult to get someone for a relationship, but getting the right person is very, very difficult, as we all know, if we're looking for a long-lasting, loving, healthy relationship, right? And especially if it's without sex, then you have to look for someone who's highly compatible with you in all the other areas as much as possible. So this is where you focus, asexuals particularly, focus on hobbies, interests, mind, soul, everything but really the body. Do you know what I mean? But asexuals have different physical needs in terms of kissing and touching. So you've got that to take into consideration as well. So this video is all about sex free, but some asexuals, for example, they like doing sexual acts or have some sexual behavior, right? So that has to be, you have to find out if you're compatible. I mean, if you're looking for another asexual, it's really difficult actually, because all asexuals tend to have, like, some a touch of burst. They don't want any touching, they don't want any cuddling, they don't even want to tap on the shoulder, like they don't want any touching. There's some asexuals that just like a cuddle, no kissing. There's some asexuals that like a cuddle and a little peck of kiss. There's some asexuals that like full on snogging, but don't like taking their clothes off, like me. There's some asexuals that like full on all clothes removed, and then but no intercourse, and that's a bit too much for me. And so there's so many different needs to what different asexuals want, but you have to make sure you're compatible in all this stuff at the beginning. That's why it's quite hard if you're on asexual dating sites, having that conversation early on when you're trying to look through their profile. If they've given enough away in the profile, you need to talk to them, like about nudity if it's an issue for you. With me, it's a big issue, but you know what I mean? Like, it's having a frank conversation at the beginning. You need to be having whatever relationship you get into. Before you get into it, you need to be having a very frank, open, honest discussion. You need to talk about deal breakers as well. There is no way you can have a forever sex-free, happy relationship, or even if you're sexual doing that, you can't have any happy, healthy, long-lasting, loving relationship without talking about deal breakers. The deal breakers are things like marriage. Do you want marriage? Do they want marriage? Kids. Do you want kids? Do they want kids? If, for example, like, I don't want kids ever in my life, I've known that since 15. The guy wants children, that's no good to me. It's like, I'm really sorry, but I've got to move on. You've got to move on, because we're not going to make each other happy, yeah? It's a deal breaker for me. I can't be with someone who wants kids, because it's never going to happen with me. I'm not interested in that, right? So, similarly, I can't be with someone who smokes, not because, it's really up to them what they do, but because it affects my chest. I know that sounds weird, but it does. Like, as you know, if you watch this channel last year, I dated a heterosexual, kissed him, And like one night of kissing, I was having a chest infection for 7 weeks. So I can't be with someone who smokes. I never wanted to be with a smoker in the first place. I don't know why I tried it, really, because I've never tried it in my life. Like, I haven't tried the smoking, but I was trying to be with a smoker, like date a smoker. It didn't work. It was terrible. So, you know, that's to do with my own health. So that's a deal breaker for me. It's not like I can let him do that because he likes doing it. It's because it affects my health. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's a deal breaker for me as well. You know, I don't need marriage and I'm happy to live on my own. So you know, these are all sort of deal breakers for me, you know. And so this is really important. So you need to sort all the deal breakers out with your own. You should be having a conversation. Like if you're dating on the first date, you should be talking about these things like, do you want marriage? Do you want kids? You don't say, I want them. You do it as a general question to find out what they actually want. Like, you don't need to scare the person off going, oh, you know, you make a great husband for me, or you make a great father for my kids. You don't need to do stuff like that, because that's just going to scare them off, right? You need to just be asking them general questions about what they're looking for in their life. And that cuts to the chase, and it cuts a lot of heartache and heartbreak out, because there's no way you can have a loving, happy, long-lasting relationship if you don't want completely different things. It's a waste of time and a waste of life and waste of space, right? So, but when you're asexual and you're having a sex relationship, you're focusing so much more on the other elements of a relationship that people who are having sex wouldn't focus so much on. Like, if two people are having sex, right, but they've got quite varied hobbies and interests, they're not, you know, they haven't got that much in common. They've got the sex in common. Do you know what I mean? And for that, for a lot of heterosexuals, that's such a big deal that it seems to just be like able to get by the relationship. That's not healthy, really, just getting by in a relationship because like sex is your most thing in common. Like, after a while in the majority of relationships, even sexuals, you know, the sex, you know, dies down after a while. Like, you know, like when you've been together months, and then if you're left with the person who's not really got anything in common with you, you'll start to stray and look at other people because you'll relate to them more. So it's really important at the beginning that you've got things that you relate to each other about. Obviously, open, honest communication, right? So the person shouldn't have any secrets from you. They shouldn't be hiding anything from you. They're hiding something from you. That it's not the right relationship, right? They should be able to be open, honest, and you should be receptive to listening to them, right? So that's a two-way thing. And also to have a long, loving, happy, healthy, sustainable relationship that's sex-free or even a sexual one, you need to be maintaining. See, this is another reason why me and my boyfriend have now ended it. He said all that I don't need sex crap, but then he kept asking for something sexual. It's pretty impossible to be with a sexual person. Yeah, Jade, I know exactly what you mean. That's why I get worried about it. But if at the end of the day, if they start asking you for the sex crap, which I totally agree, it's crap, then you have to end it. But the guy was no good for you anyway. You've told me what he's like. It's an abuser. He's absolutely an abuser. Just run a mile. He's absolutely. I'm really sorry for you. You know, lots of love I'm sending to you right now, because you're a lovely, lovely person, beautiful daughter. Don't let any guy treat you like dirt. Shade, he's 100% an abuser. It's not just signs. It's like he's abusive. Honestly, seriously, get rid of him. Don't be with him in your life. Get rid of him. Do not give him money. Do not let him back in your life. Do not let him back in your home, saying you're done. That's the end of it. He is an emotional abuser, and yeah, I guess so. It's hard. No, honestly, read back your text. Pretend you are someone else, not yourself. Take all emotion out of it, right? All feelings out of it, and just look. If that guy was someone I was seeing, what would you tell me to do? Run a mile. He's hurt someone you love dearly, which she had no right to do. No right to do. That's physical abuse for a start. He's being emotionally abusive and manipulative to you. He's asking you for money. Yeah, your daughter's far more important than this guy. This guy's a loser. Seriously, he's an abuser. He is abusing you. He's taking advantage, and you guys don't know what we're talking about because we did have a private conversation, so I don't want to, you know, like say everything. But obviously, you know, you've come on this channel for advice, Jade, so I'm talking with you. If there's anything you don't want me to say, then just let me know. But yeah, the guy is abusive, 100%. You know, abusive just by what you've written. He's abusing you, and he's abusing your daughter. So you need to get the heck away from him. Do not give him any money. Him losing his job is not your problem. It's got nothing to do. Say whatever you want. Okay. So yeah, so for example, he hit your daughter, right? he's got no right to hurt your daughter in the first place. And another thing, he shouldn't be hitting her. He's physically assaulted your daughter, right? Which you could probably have him done by the police force, because he has not blood related to you whatsoever, and he had no reason to do that. And if she had any marks on her at all, you know, you could have gone to police over that, because it's physical abuse. You know, you don't want your daughter anywhere near him. He's an abuser, and if he's done it once, he'll do it more and more. You know, you don't want anyone smacking your daughter. It's no right to. From what I've seen, your daughter is beautiful and she's gorgeous, and she doesn't deserve that. So you walk away from him, because he hurt your daughter. Yeah, you walk away from him, right? Walk away from him, right? And also, you know, he's emotionally manipulative and abusive to you. Oh man, that's very true. She didn't have any marks, but she didn't tell me. She told my mum 2 days later that hurt me. He's very lucky I didn't smash his face in. Exactly. So, you know, the reason you're feeling about smashing his face in is how he treated your daughter, right? But you don't want a guy who's making you feel that way. You want a guy who loves you for who you are, who makes you feel wanted, special and needed, and who you can be yourself around in a calm state. If any guy makes you feel like you want to smash his face in, I do get that, because I've been with abusers before. So I know how that feels, because it's like a natural response, fight or flight response. Then you need to get the hell out of there. Just don't have anything to do with him. His financial problems are not yours. He's using you and manipulating you. You do not owe him any money, nothing. You do not do any sexual stuff for him, and you do not have your daughter go near him. You are keeping away. He is dangerous. I'm telling you, seriously dangerous. You are lucky that he's not around, and I hope you've split up with him for good, because this guy is a loser, an abuser, and a badass, and not in a good way, all right? As you know, women can get attracted to badasses, right? But I've told him to stay away. He was lovely up until this weekend. But that's what abusers are like, right? Good, you blocked my everything. That's what abusers are like. I don't know if you watched my video yesterday, but there's even an ornament I found from my ex, which had to me and from him, which was 4-year anniversary, like years ago. I forgot I had it. And he was nice as pie. He used to spend loads of money on me with gifts and stuff, you know. They used to buy me flowers, take me out for meals, buy me loads of presents that I loved. But he was abusive. Like, behind closed doors, he's punching the walls. Do you know what I mean? And I couldn't, I was in fight or flight anymore. If I ever be with a guy like that, I'll tell you, if a guy shows any signs, I'll be off there like a shot. I don't care how nice he is, because he's not nice if he's going to do that. You know, there's plenty of guys in the world at the end of the day, Jade, or you can be on your own, be single. No, I'd rather be single forever than ever get with a guy like my ex ever again. I tell you, you know, my ex punched a hole in a wall near my guinea pigs. Yeah, I know what you mean. Being like that with someone is emotionally horrible. It's vile. It is vile. And it turns you into being more aggressive yourself, because you have to protect yourself. You don't want to be in that type of relationship. They isolate you to believe it's your fault. Exactly, Heather. Yeah, he isolated me from all my friends. Like, that's why 100% I keep all my friends now. If I'm ever in a relationship, that's it. You know, it's better to stay single for now, Jade. I might just stay single now. Yes, I have post-traumatic stress PTSD due to my ex, who is the father of my child. He did things to me that were truly evil. Yeah, so this guy's the same, right? I don't know, because Jade, you live in the UK, right? If you go to the NHS, you can ask to have a pattern changing course. I did it for 3 months. It's with SAFE, which is an organisation in the UK that helps people that have had domestic violence. So I asked for it from my doctor, and they referred me to the SAFE place, but it's actually not far from where I live. And it's a place where you go for training. There's probably centres all around the UK, I think. It's a place where you go for training. I have 3 months intensive, group sessions. There's to help you to identify patterns of abusing guys, so that you don't get with an abuser ever again. So I never heard of that. It's very interesting. I've been under psychiatrists, etc. No one has ever mentioned it or really helped me with my PTSD. I'll have a look at it. Yeah. But you don't want to be with an abuser if you have PTSD, because they will just abuse you even more. And sadly, the abusers, they abuse people who've been abused, because they prey on you. So the moment that's why it's dangerous telling your a new person in your life that you've been abused in the past. And you have lots of signs to look out for. And if they tick quite a few of those signs of abuse, you run a mile from them, you just go. So whenever I think about getting in a new relationship with someone, I always have the red flags near me and think how many of that, if they do like 3, you get out of there. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Or less than that. It depends what it is. But obviously in your case with that guy, you get the hell out of there, get him away from your daughter. Yeah, I seem to just attract addicts or alcohols or criminals. Yeah, because what happens is you have you need to change the pattern. You need to see the patterns of behavior that you always attract, and only by seeing the patterns of behavior of abusers can you actually break free of them. And you might still get attracted to them. They might still be attracted to you because it doesn't completely stop the cycle, but it stops it in the sense that you can recognize it early and stop it quickly. So that if any, I have them on the internet. I've had guys who are interested in a relationship with me on the internet, and I know sometimes just by texting them that they're abusive because their signs are all there. I had a conversation once with someone on ASAP. I only spoke to him over a few days, and I was able to suss him out really quickly, and then to just block him. I said, I've changed my mind about you. Block. Because he's narcissistic. There's a lot of narcissists in the world. And when I did the pattern changing course, sadly, 1 in 3 people are abusive in abusive relationships. So that means 1 in every 3 guys you meet are abusers. So it's not your fault that there are so many. Thing is, right, I'm absolutely vile. I have a horrid temper. I'm so protective of my daughter, and I would literally kill 1,000 people for her. But yet these guys seem so lovely at first, but then change. I believe that the 1 in 3 is statistics. Yeah, the 1 in 3 is statistics. 1 in 3 people in the UK are in abusive relationships. Doesn't mean to say the guys are the abuser. It can be women as well who are abusing the guys, but it tends to be more guys that are abusing women. But most guys are scared of you. Yeah, but you've probably built up this very aggressive exterior because of your interior being scared. But then they seem to be time wasters. Yeah, I mean, you want a situation where you're not so aggressive because you don't feel you have to protect yourself as much, and you can be more vulnerable in a good way with the right person, and then stop attracting these bad people. Do you see what I mean? Because aggression can breed aggression. I like the weed out the idiots. Yeah, I do understand that. I've got a friend who's quite like that. Still seem to get stuck with them. Yeah, because the thing is they know how to manipulate. They know how to get into your psychology. So even if you're aggressive, they know that that's for a reason, right? The average person, when you meet someone, is not so aggressive, but everyone gets defensive to a certain extent if they've been hurt in the past, right? So that person knows straight away there's something up with you. They know that you've got a weakness. In a way, your aggression is your weakness because they know you're feeling that you need to be aggressive because something's happened in your past, most likely. And so they're like, okay. And obviously, if they are aggressive themselves, aggression attracts like attracts like. So if you're feeling aggressive and being aggressive and putting aggressive vibes out into the world, you'll get aggressive people back to you. Like I've been in abusive relationships, right? But I refuse to be like those people who abused me, right? When I was in abusive relationships, particularly long term, yes, it did make me more aggressive when I was in it. I get that. You make sense. I've never thought of it like that. Yeah. So you attract what you are. So when I was in the abusive relationship I was on for a very long time, I did react aggressively back because I was protecting myself. Like I was like, no more, there's only so much you can take. And it's like, like I may be short, 5'4.5", but believe me, he was 6'3". And yeah, I've got a lot of, when you're in fight or flight mode and your adrenaline's kicking, you can do a lot despite being 5'4.5" with a 6'3" guy. Stuff that I didn't even expect me to do, like defending myself before he's even had a chance to fully attack me, right? Because we have to as girls, right? We have to protect our bodies, protect ourselves, and there's only so much anyone can take, right? And I'm as sweet as innocent as I can be, but there comes a time when if you're put in a certain position, you have to get the hell out there and you have to defend yourself. And sometimes if someone's coming at you in your face, you have to sometimes chuck them away from you before they hit you in your face, which is what happened years ago with me, right? And then of course he was like, oh, you've hurt me, trying it on all the time to make me feel really guilty and bad. And I'm like, go to the hospital then, come on, I'll go with you. And of course he wouldn't, because he wasn't really that bad. He was just playing on it all the time. Manipulation, so that he would make him feel that I was the bad person, that I was the one who was hurting him, and blah, blah, blah. So this is what they do, right? So, I mean, you know, I love being in my own home. I actually left to be in my own home, but I go for the eyes or the Goonies. I guess they always make it seem your fault. But I don't want to be with a guy like that, you know? I don't want to be with a guy who makes me feel aggressive, right? Because that's no good for me in my life. I don't want to be that type of person. I want to be a nice, calm, relaxed person. I need someone who's going to discuss things with me, who's being open, honest communication, not hide things from me, not make me feel worried about stuff, you know, because I've, you know, like, I haven't had post-traumatic stress disorder that I've ever been diagnosed with, but I have clearly got a lot of trauma from my past. And that's hard sometimes when you're dealing with that, especially if you're looking for a new relationship. It's kind of tough because you're just kind of still battling some old stuff as well as bringing the new. And like, to have a loving, happy, long-lasting, healthy relationship, you have to try and work for your old stuff as much as possible so that you're in the best frame of mind for attracting a good person into your life. So like this year, like, some personal trauma, which wasn't even to do with relationships, really, it was to do with the relationship with myself, because I was really lonely as a child at primary school. I was really left out, and I had a lot of problems growing up, being on my own. But I made peace with my past at last this year. Like the child, I went back to nourish her and did a reframing of my past. I learned about it before Christmas, how to reframe your past so that really bad past works to your advantage. So it's kind of like in your mind, you think, right, if I hadn't had all that trauma, that pain and hurt before, then it would not have made me the person I am today. So you had to have had that happen to you in order to be the life and live the life you have now. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it good, but it makes it how it's meant to be for you. So you have to, exactly. So if you are feeling aggressive all the time, then you have to become the opposite to attract non-aggressors, right? So I don't want to be an aggressive person, you know. I will stay clear of any relationship that makes me feel aggressive. The only one thing that makes me feel aggressive ever is nudity, actually, in the cinema. I still haven't stopped feeling aggressive about that, but hopefully I will. But I don't watch nudity, I avoid it like the plague. But if I was with a boyfriend who was looking at that, that usually can make me feel aggressive, and I'm aware of that. That's my one really aggressive weakness, if you like. But I just don't watch those type of films. I don't, you know, like, usually, like, for the last 7-8 years I've been watching them nearly all on my own, so I don't have that problem to worry about. But obviously if I'm in a relationship, you know, that would really pee me off, because I just hate it. I just think, like, they shouldn't be looking at someone else, but that's my problem to deal with, you know. So I'm not perfect, you know, and you know, I've had other stuff in my past. Hi Lewis, nice to see you. So yeah, so Jade, I mean, try and ask the NHS for a pattern change course. Try and ask, it's safe, SAFE, with different dots at it. It's called, what is it called? Let me get my certificate. Hang on, stay there, don't go away, people. I just have to grab a certificate off the wall, okay? So I can't do it in front of you. Right, okay. So you can see my certificate. I did it, actually, officially. Right. So this is my certificate. It's called Stop Abuse for Everyone, SAFE. Okay. You're welcome, Jade. I did that in 2013, April, May, June, July. Actually, it's 12 weeks. It's quite a long course. Yeah. 12 weeks it was. That's 4 months, isn't it? 4, 8, 12. Oh, 3 months, but it looks like 4 here. Anyway, it's April to July. I think there's a couple of weeks holiday for Easter in it. But yeah, so it was saying safe, haha. I was saying it's called safe. Yeah. So basically, safe, if you read it, it says stop abuse for everyone. Can you see that? So Stop Abuse for Everyone is the full name, but it's known as SAFE. So if you look online, SAFE or Stop Abuse for Everyone, you can try and find a centre, but you usually have to be referred to by your doctor on the NHS. Yeah. Yeah, so look at that. That's really important. As well, if anyone else is watching this and gone through abuse, it's really important. This course is invaluable. I've still got all the coursework from it. You get to keep the coursework. You do about 12 different modules you have to work through. And it's really empowering. It helps you to calm down a lot. You make friends there as well from other people that have been abused. You make other friends. You're not supposed to tell anyone about this when you first do it, right? You're supposed to keep it secret. I can say it now because I'm a strong enough person to be able to reveal this, right? And it helps when I do this channel. So people know that I'm talking from a place of experience and I know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? When I'm talking about happy, healthy, loving relationships, I have experience of how that should look. I'm not just plucking all this information out thin air in case you thought I was. And it's really important because they said statistically 1 in 3 people are abusers, basically. So that's 33% of the population, at least in the UK. So you've got to know that 1 in every 3 guys you meet is, or that it does apply to women as well. But 1 in 3 people you meet in your life will be abusive. So that means like you've only got 33%. So that means nearly like 64% or 63% of the males you meet will be abusive. So you have to look out for that whenever you think about getting into a relationship, to assess whether that person is one of those 60-something% or whether they're one of the 33% that isn't. So it's very difficult. So every time you get attracted to someone, just think every 3 people you get attracted to, 1 of them will be abusive. That's what I've done, and it's worked really well for me. I thought, okay, like I'm talking to these people, at least probably 2 out of the 3 is going to be abusive. And you just get rid of the ones that show that show the red flags of abuse, because they teach you how to look for all these different red flags. Like things you may never have looked at before. There are things that red flags though that like they have to have a combination. If there's just like one thing that's a red flag, because no one's perfect, you kind of like look at the one red flag and bear it in mind. Then if they start accumulate 2, 3, then by 3 that's pretty much it. Do you know what I mean? You just like scarper. But so it is really difficult when there's been a few red flags, but I understand his parents, his child completely different to mine. I do not allow anyone to smack my child. No, he's abusive. He is 100% abusive. If you look at your message and just think of how many instances of abuse there is in that one bit of information you told me about him. He smacked your child. 1, why is he doing that in first place? It's not, it's not even his place to. And 2, that's damn right aggression. It's assault. He's assaulting a child. It's got nothing to do with him. He's no blood relative to her, is it? However I parent my child is up to me. I've never allowed anyone to smack her. Once it comes to her, that's it. I'm finished. Exactly. I don't think smacking's an answer for any kid anyway. He constantly smacks his own daughter, and I think it's completely wrong. Well, yeah, she'll grow up to either really hate him, be really frightened in her life of communicating with someone. She'll have a lot of problems. It's a shame that it's a shame she has to be with him, because he's abusing her by the sound of it constantly, his own daughter. And I'm guessing no one's helping with that. You don't need to. Why do you need to? I was smacked and it didn't really help me. I mean, yeah, I might be a good girl, but it just made me. It made me like feel that's abuse. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe not the smacking so much, but getting a belt, and stuff like that, and threatening me with a belt. I consider that abuse. Do you know what I mean? Really, it's a bit abusive if you ask me. Being threatening a child with a belt. But even smacking, because I was asexual. I didn't realise I was asexual back then, but I actually hated my dad smacking me on the bum, because I'm like, it's my bum. It's a different story, isn't it, when it's not your own child? I wouldn't dream of hurting another child, let alone smacking someone else's kid. Exactly. I mean, if he's doing that now, think what he'd be like down the line. You could come with your daughter's face smashed in. Do you know what I mean? You don't want a guy like that. No guy in the world is worth that. There are thousands of guys out there. There are thousands of asexual guys. Like, on asexuality.org, there's like, 60,000 members. I mean, not every one of them are asexual. Exactly. You need to try and find. There are quite a lot of nice guys in the UK, but you have to work on yourself. Try and get on that pattern changing course. Try and become less aggressive yourself, so you're attracting a different temperament of guy, because you don't want to be, like I said, like attracts like. If you're being aggressive, you'll attract aggressive guys. Like, I try to be very kind, caring person. I do, I don't ever want to be an aggressive person. I don't want to be near anyone aggressive, because it does end up making you be that way if you're not careful, And thank God I've been single for since 2011 predominantly. So I've got away from that type of lifestyle, that mentality, and I'd rather just walk away from a guy and say we're done than ever have this aggression stuff going on, you know, because no guy's worth it. There are loads out there, and even though we may think that the guy we're with is like the be all and end all of life, that we love him so much, you can still get another guy. Yes, I'm looking at Awakening now on YouTube. It's to do with the spirituality, etc. There is a part of it on the way to internal awakening, which is basically aggression. Good. So yeah, so you need to like filter out that aggression, you know. There's no need for you to be aggressive. The only reason you're aggressive is because you're responding to all the hurt and pain that these guys have caused you in your life, and you're constantly in fight or flight mode to defend yourself. But if you get a right guy, if you know how to look for the signs of an aggressive bad guy for you, if you avoid that type of guy in the first place, you're far less likely to get hurt, and therefore you don't need to be so protective of yourself and aggressive, because aggression breeds aggression, right? No one wants that. So, you know, I could be aggressive with everything that's happened to me. I could be really nasty with all the horrible things, but I chose differently. I chose that when I was with my ex, when you know, we split up, I would never seek revenge like that. I would never be aggressive like that. I would walk away and be the good person I can be. I don't want to be that type of person. It was horrible being with him because it was making me more aggressive, because, you know, if someone's constantly threatening you, you're going to get sick and tired of it and want to defend yourself after a while. It's just natural, you know? And so, you know, it made me more aggressive, to be honest, whilst I was with him. And I was so glad to get rid of all that. That's why I've loved a sex-free life, actually, because I hated all the sex stuff. Like, he used to watch music videos with sex in them. You know, like, he liked a lot of that type of thing. And I mean, I'm a sports-free zone. I don't have any sport in my house. He was like sport a lot. Mind you, the guy I've like now, he likes sport. I mean, it's okay if people like sport, it's fine, but you know, it's just like boring to me. But you know, it's like I don't have to put up with any of that old stuff that I used to have to put up with. And do you know what I mean? But he liked, you know, like I would he would go to parties, work dues, and then, you know, he would be like I went to work do with him once, and like the woman was kissing him and stuff, like his work colleague, and he used to tell me stuff about being in the toilet with a woman from work. I'm like, well, what the hell are you doing? Oh, I'm comforting her. It's like, well, I'm sure she don't need, you know, I'm sure there's women that can comfort her in your work. You don't need to go in the toilet with her. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I've heard being nice, but that's over the top. And he wasn't like that to me, you know. I'll give you a really example, shocking thing as well he did, right? We were on the train, comforting her ass more like, exactly. Yes, you eventually hate them the way they treat you that way. Yes, exactly. He was comforting her ass. Surprised he didn't get one up her ass or whatever he wanted to do with it in the toilet. You do not do stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's sick. Absolutely sick. And yeah, he's making me feel bad. He's like, oh, well, she was really upset and I was comforting her. She really needed a friend. Do you know what I mean? Making me feel bad about his behaviour when he shouldn't be doing that when he's in a relationship with me. Do you know what I mean? It's really bad. And yeah, when we went out, work do, I didn't go out very often like that. It was not far from where I live. This woman's going, oh, how are you? Mwah, 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 to him on the cheeks. And it's like, come on, Sandra, let's go and egg his house. No, I don't have anything to do with him. I've let him go. I'm not interested in him. I'd never go near him again, even if he crosses my path, because that's what they want. These people want your attention. They want your energy. He's actually, I'm on the at-risk register, medium with him. I have to stay clear. I will never speak to him again. That's what you've got to do as well. Everyone in your past that's a bad person, you have to completely ignore them. It takes a lot of willpower. People can't do it. Yeah, they're attention seekers and narcissistic. So the more you pay them attention, the more you're aggressive back to them, the more they love it, because they've made you react to them. So the best thing you can do is walk away and never react. Doesn't matter how much they ring you, you don't respond. Doesn't matter how much they try to speak to you, you don't respond. You completely blank them, ignore them. They hate it. Eventually they get the message, eventually. But you just ignore them. They want attention. That's all they want. It's like dealing with a 2-year-old sometimes. Exactly. But then you have to be the adult in that situation. Not retaliate, not want to fight back. You have to walk away because you want to get to the island of peace and paradise, right? You don't want to be in the island of aggression, you know, where you're going to get roughed up and your emotions are going to get stifled and you're going to get battered and bruised. You want to be on the island, the love island, where paradise waits, which is usually the single life, right? You need to make sure you make yourself be single. Like, I made sure that I was single for a whole year, pretty much. Well, it was October to October, I think, yeah. November to October, so practically you know, like just under 12 months before I dated anyone, right? I forced myself to be happy being single. I actually reprogrammed my mind so that I can be happy being single now. I did something with neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. I went to a coaching course for a weekend, like life coaching. So I've got some life coaching skills. And it's all about using the mind and affirmations to rechange and rewire your brain. So I'm now really completely happy being single, even though I really love a romantic partner. That's always been there in my mind because I'm really super romantic and do want that. But, you know, I'm happy being single. I can be a single like forever for years and years and years on my own and still be really happy in and of myself and self-date and all the rest of it, because I've trained my brain to be like that. And actually, to be in a relationship now is harder for me because I've trained my brain out of that scenario. And to go into a relationship, obviously with all the abuse and trauma, you know, that's interesting. Do they do anything like that specifically for depression and stuff too? Or is it just general life coaching? Well, that's what I've learned. I can teach people how to do affirmations for pretty much anything. So there's affirmations for anything, for depression, to be healthy, to be wealthy. But depression's not just about affirmations. It's about whole mindset changes, right? Because I used to be depressed until 2012. It's how all about self-love. The way you stop having depression is to start loving yourself, being your best friend to yourself, truly 100% loving who you are, adoring yourself, and freeing yourself of all the negative people around you, all the negative influences, and learn your purpose, like what your specific purpose is in life, and find out all about the skills and everything. Thing is, I hate myself. I can't snap out of it. Yeah, I gathered you must hate yourself from what you're asking me. But you have to start loving yourself. The reason you hate yourself is because you don't like who you are, because you're aggressive. You said you're aggressive. You don't want to be aggressive. You're not an aggressive person, really. It's the circumstances that made you aggressive, right? And in order to have a loving, happy, healthy relationship, is anyone going to want to be with an aggressive person? If you're saying you're aggressive, it's good because you've admitted you've got a problem. But no one is going to want to be in a long-term relationship with you while you're in that state, because it's not healthy for them. It's not loving for them. So you need to work on yourself. You need to take time out for relationships and start working on yourself to start loving yourself, to start getting to know who you are as a person. Anything you don't love about yourself, you need to change. And I'm guessing that you don't like all the aggression, because if you did like it, you'd be feeling great, but you're not. So you need to free yourself of all this aggression. But if you've got all these tools in place, like all the things, yeah, I need to do that, what you did, and have a year away from it. Exactly. It's hard. You have to force yourself. Like, you have to go, I'm being single, and these people will come into your life and you're like, I'm being single, and you have to like set yourself a date. So you have to be single until that day. It's very difficult, actually, if you're into relationships. Like, I've always been programmed really to be in a relationship. But now I'm programmed the opposite. Now I'm programmed actually mostly to be single by default more. So it's kind of hard. Like, when I'm thinking about going to a relationship again, which you know, I've met the British guy, that's really difficult for me because I'm constantly assessing, is there any red flags there? What about longevity? What about personality? What about likes, interests? What about his temperament? Getting to know him as a person. But I'm only going to get to know that mostly through time with him. And the beginning wasn't honest, which really, really, like, usually I wouldn't give anyone a second chance if they don't tell me any truth. You know, if they're not honest with me from the beginning, they're usually out the door like a bullet. It's like, I can't be doing with that. You know, if you can't be honest with me, you're going, bye, see you, I'm not interested. But this person I gave a second chance to, which I don't usually do. And the reason I did that is because I believe the reason they were not telling me the truth was something to do with themselves, actually, and the hard time they've had in their life, which isn't an excuse, really. It's no excuse. So I just believe they got special needs and stuff, and it might be partly to do with that and the way they've been treated in their life. Doesn't make it a reason. But, you know, if it start happening again and that person's lying to me again, then I'm just going to have to say bye-bye, you know, which is why I'm cautious about getting a relationship, you know. But they've been really open now. Well, I think that says a lot for him, that if you gave him a chance, he must be a nice guy. Yeah, exactly. I don't give second chances usually, but I have learned more about forgiveness. Like usually I don't forgive anyone, but the good thing that he did is he did say sorry and admitted to me. And if he'd have kept lying to me, I'd have just got fed up with it and thought, that's such a shame. You're going to waste that opportunity, but bye. because I can't stand, the worst thing is when someone lies and they carry on lying about it, and they just, yeah, you, Philip, they carry on lying about it, if he'd carried on lying about it, then I would have just been upset and think I have to go because I can't be doing with it. But I'll give him the second chance. But if I find out, down the line that he starts lying to me again and hiding things from me, then it's going to be no go. But I don't, I've got to trust that he's never going to do that to me again, which is a big trust thing. So far, so good. He's changed his attitude and been a lot more open and honest and telling me the truth now. So I hope that continues. I'm very good as well at sussing out if someone's not telling me the truth. And that's what's so hard. It's because I'll know if he never tells me the truth again, even if he starts lying about it, I'll instinctively know, and then I won't be able to be with him because I just can't be with someone who lies. There's no need for it. If you can't be yourself with that person and totally be open and honest without lying, that person's not right for you. I am not right for him if he feels he has to do that. He needs to walk away from me if that's how he feels that he can't talk to me about things, can't be open and honest. Obviously, there are times in relationships that you might find it hard to talk to the person, but then you need to talk to the person about you find it hard to talk to them because they're behaving a certain way. So like no one's perfect. So for example, if you get into a relationship with someone and say they're having an off day and they snap at you, I'm not talking about like bashing you in or smacking you or being really nasty. So sometimes like you snap, right? Everyone does that. It's natural. Like say you're, I don't know, cooking food and the person's coming in behind you and they're going, oh, what's for food, or what you doing now, or what, blah, blah, blah. And you're trying to concentrate on what you're doing. You might go, I'm trying to concentrate on this, right? So you've kind of snapped at them like that, right? And then you're thinking, oh, I've snapped at them, right? So that type of thing's going to happen. That's quite kind of natural. But then you've got to think afterwards, like, was I being a nice partner? Was I being a loving partner? Like, and hopefully the partner would say to you, you've no need to snap at me. Like, I didn't mean to upset you. So it's like you have to have open communication and dialogue constantly, backwards and forwards. And the thing is, any relationship, you should be asking the other person how they feel. So it's really important when you're in a relationship to talk about how you feel. You need a guy that's going to open up to you, the guy that's going to be able to express his feelings and emotions in a very positive way. So not an aggressive way. So if you've got a guy who bottles all his emotions up, never cries, is a hard nut guy, right? Mr. Macho guy, doesn't say sorry. If a guy never says sorry, he's a narcissist. Get the hell out of there. If he never says sorry, narcissist. That's what they are. Narcissists never say sorry. The only time they'll ever say sorry is if it's to their manipulative advantage. That's the only time they'll ever say sorry. Otherwise, they'll never do. If a guy can't admit his mistakes and admit sorry to his woman, then he should be out the door, right? Because he's not perfect. He doesn't know everything. And if he's upset his partner, he should be saying, I'm sorry I've upset your feelings. I'm sorry I've hurt you. I'm sorry for doing that. And you should be discussing going forward how you want the behavior to change. So if you've got a partner and their behavior, or if they say sorry and then immediately go on to say, but you did this, that, and the other. Exactly. They should never point it back to you. If you've said to them, this behavior is no good, that you're unhappy with the behavior and how you feel. So in a relationship where there's good communication, right, your partner's sometimes going to do things that are not going to be nice, that are going to make you feel bad or upset. It does happen, right? But it's a way you have to try and deal with it. You have to go and say, okay, honey, you did this earlier today and this made me feel really upset or hurt because of this. And then the partner should be responsive to that, saying, okay, honey, like I didn't realize it was making you feel that way. Like, how can I do things better next time? How can I improve myself? If a guy is egotistical, thinking he's great at everything, knows everything, he's not a good guy because he's coming from a place of ego, not and of self, not of love, right? And not thinking about you. He's just going to his own ego, right? Which is what a lot of guys who are interested in tons of sex do. They're on the pull because they're so insecure about themselves, even though they make out they're so confident, that they have to have loads of women telling them how great they look and wanting sex with them. That's the ego, selfish thing, right? You should never try and get a guy who's never from a place of ego. He's from a place of consciousness. So he lives his life in a conscious state. So you have to try and live your life in a conscious state. So be aware of your own actions, your own thoughts, your own feelings, right? So even if sometimes your thoughts aren't great, you should be aware of them. and thinking, how can I improve myself? And when you have a loving, happy, long-lasting, healthy relationship, you should be looking to grow the relationship together, as well as still maintaining, growing your own separate lives at the same time, which is kind of a balancing act. That can be quite difficult. So you should still keep your own friends, for example, still go out and see other people, but then equally make sure you're spending time with them, and you need to make time for yourself, which is what most people forget. Because if you forget to make time for yourself, and you know, you'll neglect yourself, and then you'll start getting uptight and kind of angry, maybe because you're not spending any time nourishing your own needs. You're always looking after like your friends or him or her or whoever you're with. Do you know what I mean? Then you're a family, so you still need to make time for yourself, some quiet time sometimes, even if it's only a little bit in your day, that you make time out for yourself. So it's so important. But you need to work on yourself first, Jade, in order to attract a better quality guy. So I've worked on myself for a long time. You don't stop working on yourself. Like, if anyone gets into a relationship and stops working on themselves and think, yeah, well, I'm fine and I don't need to do any work on myself, that's not a good person. You're in this life to constantly work, grow, and change your life for the better forever, right? To develop yourself as a person, to develop your skills, your experience, you know, and to become a better person. You want to become the best version of yourself for the person you're with, and you want them to bring out the best version of you for yourself, right? So I want to be with a guy who makes me as happy as I make myself, or happier, nothing less. If I'm with a guy and then, you know, as time goes on, I start becoming less and less happy, and I remember that I'm happier being single, then ultimately it'll start making me think I should be single again, because there's no point in being in that relationship because it's not any benefit to me. But there's nothing there. There's no value in it. So when you're with a partner, you both should both be being valuable to each other. What I mean by valuable is giving that person a reason to stay, really, you know, being there for them, supportive, open, honest, loving, emotional, caring, kind. Right? The moment the other person starts closing off, you know, you should be having an open discussion about how you feel. Like, if you're a good partner, like if I feel upset about something, then I need to go to my partner and say, honey, I'm feeling really upset right now. And they should be saying, you know, why are they, either they'll know why, or they should be like saying why. And they shouldn't be clamming up, not wanting to talk to you. They should like make you open up, and they should open up about how they feel, because they might feel that something you've done is not great. But, you know, like you said, you don't want to get into tit for tat. If they're doing tit for tat and they're not listening to you, and every time you say you've got a problem in a relationship, they have too, that's not a good guy, right? You know, when you've got a problem, that person needs to deal with your problem, how you feel, and sort it out. You don't want this, well, you did this, you did that. That's not, you can't have a sustainable, long lasting, loving, healthy relationship like that, right? But obviously you should be having ongoing communication, like weekly, like saying, how do you feel? And in between times, if you're feeling something's a little bit off, like they're a little bit distant from you, you know, should be saying, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Right? It might not be anything to do with you. They might have had a bad day at work. Someone else might have peed them off in the town. A relative, a friend, you know, might have upset them. So it might be nothing to do with you, but you should be constantly communicating. And if you're feeling bad about something, you should be able to tell your partner, I'm feeling bad, even whether it's to do with them or someone else. But it means totally open, honest communication, which is making you very vulnerable, which is why a lot of people can't do it. A lot of people cannot sustain a long, happy, loving, healthy, committed relationship because they're too scared. And they're scared of being vulnerable, and they're scared of opening up, and therefore it shuts doors, and you can never totally trust the other person. And therefore, if you never totally trust the other person, there's always going to be a problem in the relationship. And that's why it makes relationships so difficult. So, you know, you need total, open, honest communication all the time. The moment the trust is gone, it's gone forever, usually, and you can never get it back. And it doesn't matter how much you love that person, how much you want them to be in life, you'll always be second guessing them, getting jealous, thinking something else is going on when it's not. And it becomes a real issue, a big problem. And, you know, you have to really just go, because otherwise you just not trust each other, and it could end up abusive, you know, it's not healthy. So that's really difficult, you know, it's really difficult. But you always have to do the work on yourself in order to help, you know, other people. Like, I've had to like think to myself, and I still think now, you know, how can I be a good girl for that person when they come into my life? How can I be a good loving partner? How can I help them? You know, how much more can I listen to them? You know, how actively listen to them? What can I change about myself to make myself a better person for the person that's going to come into my life? Obviously, I've still got to assess if they're any good for me as well. So it's kind of a balancing act between you being good for them and they being good for you, right? And you kind of want them to be parallel most of the time, so you're really good for each other in the middle. But obviously one person's bad, the other person's bad, you'll be doing this and going apart. You need to be coming together as much as possible in an equilibrium state. So it's quite hard. Relationships aren't easy. They're quite hard work, which is why a lot of people don't want sustainable, long, happy relationships, because it's too much for them, like all the work, you know. But if you've got a totally open, honest communication, like I'm a really direct person, you know, on this channel, I'm so open and direct and honest. Like I'm probably one of the most honest people on the whole of the entire internet, to be quite honest with you. Most people don't say stuff like I do. They'll only show one side of them. It's like wherever I am, I'm very authentic. So wherever I am, I will literally be who I am. Like if I go, like in my ex job, I was totally who I am. I used to talk about asexuality all the time. They didn't all like it. And I was very loud and bubbly, which some people didn't like, but I won't change myself for the circumstance I'm in. So no matter who I'm with, where I am, I'm still the same Sandra. Do you see what I mean? But when you're in a relationship, like a lot of people in relationships, a lot of people individually, they change to the circumstances they're in, like a chameleon, so that you never knew truly who you're with and who they are. Because they'll, like, when they're with their family, they'll talk a certain way. When they're with their friends, they'll talk a certain way. When they're with the work colleagues, they'll talk a certain way. It's like one of the guys I used to be very good friends with in my old job. He used to say about this girl, this woman, oh, she's not particularly nice. Like no one wants to, like, she's not particularly nice to people. Like, better stay clear of her type thing. And then he was going flirting with her. Do you see what I mean? So on one hand, he's kind of like giving the vibes and impression that he doesn't really like her. The next minute, he's in the locker room flirting with her and chatting her up. And they're completely different things, And he admitted to me, because he's got issues, he admitted to me in private, because we used to get on very, very well. Me and him used to have private conversations. He admitted that he's got, that he's not authentic. He cannot be himself around people totally, because he has to be pleasing people. He has to please the people around him. He has to keep this facade up of who he really is, even though I know at home he's different and he's got anxiety and lots of other issues that other people don't see. I saw it. I knew when he was upset. I was very intuitive with this guy, actually. I knew when he was upset. I knew when something was, when everyone else thought things were rosy with him, because I knew him so well. And so I'm very good at seeing that in people. That's what makes it even harder when you get sort of insight and powers like this. You can know if someone's lying, and if you know someone's lying, it doesn't matter if they tell you blue in the face that they're not. You just hate it, because you can't be with someone like that. It just winds you up to the point where you just know that they're not telling you the truth, and it's sad. I think a lot of people miss opportunities of true love and happiness because they're too scared, and they'd rather keep things to themselves. They'd rather say what they want the partner to hear as well. I won't tell that my partner what he wants to hear. I just won't do it. Whether he likes it or not, I won't do it, because I'm not dishonest. And if he doesn't want me for the person I am, if I'm not right for him, then he needs to walk away and get a better partner for him, right? If I'm not right for him, equally vice versa, because I want him to be with the best partner for him, regardless of how I feel about him. I want him to get the best person for him. Yeah. Obviously you hope that you're the best person for that person, but if you can't be yourself around them, have open, honest communication, there's going to be things when you first get together that, you might have to talk to the other person about. Like, for example, the guy that I've just met, he had porn stuff all over the place, and I've told him about that. I'm hoping he's got rid of all that. I have to trust that he's done that. If he hasn't, I hope he does that, but he should have got rid of it by now. You're not going to get into a long, happy, loving, sustainable, fulfilling relationship if you got loads of women you're talking to about stuff like that, I hope he's just got rid of them all and told them I got a girlfriend now, or interested in a girl, like go get lost, you know what I mean? Or not speaking to them at all, just delete them all. But when they got your phone number, you knew you have to have a word with them, either you have to blank them completely or say, like, I'm not interested now, I've got a girlfriend, a partner, like, go away, so that's what you have to do, and hopefully he's done all that. But because if you want a loving, long, happy, sustainable relationship, the last thing you want to do is have these people, it's like, when I'm officially in a relationship with him, I will be putting on all my asexual dating site stuff that I'm in a relationship with him. I'll stay on there because of all the work I do for asexuals. I get a lot of people coming to my meetups, a lot of people like doing like reaching me through all these different asexual dating sites. But there's only two, isn't there, really, in an asexual dating app, but people use them for socializing as well, not just for dating. So I'll be putting, once I'm in a relationship, I'll be putting that on there. Just so the person knows. Same with Facebook, innit? You put you're on a relationship on there, you let everyone know. Do you know what I mean? You don't hide that. So it's just like, you know, it's just like you have to be prepared for the relationship to come along, you know. It's like I've spent like since 2014 looking for my asexual Indian soulmate, which I honestly thought he was asexual Indian, and now the British guy's come into my life. It's really strange. It's like I'm not bothered about being with an Indian guy like I was before. Like, of course, I'm aesthetically attracted to them still. I probably always will be because I'm always attracted to that type of look. But you know, it's like kind of like I was interested in an actual asexual guy that I was like in a online relationship with. But I was meant to see him from the UK, but he turned out to not be a nice person. And like with him, it didn't feel right enough that I was still pining for the relationship I could have had that I never did. But with the British guy, for some reason, it's kind of like it doesn't matter if I don't meet an Indian guy now because it feels so right with the guy. So hopefully, I've got my intuition with him correct. Obviously, there's still the fact that he wasn't honest with me in the first place, which has been hard. I've had to forgive him for that and move on. That was difficult because I don't usually do that. It's very out of character for me. But I have there was a friend that upset me a little while ago. He didn't mean to intentionally, and you know, I forgave him. You know, so I kind of felt that with this guy who's watching this channel now that he was saying stuff to impress me, which I don't get impressed by guys who say stuff to impress me. It just pees me off, and I'm like, I don't want another guy like that. I can get guys like that all the time. Do you know what I mean? They just say what I want to hear. I don't like that. I like authenticity and reality, you know? So, but I kind of like was reflecting on it, and I don't think they did it from a bad place. And I just felt like I should give them a second chance because I kind of felt like because I give my friend a second chance, but my friend I've known for a long time, you know, it's valid giving someone a second chance who's upset you, you know, because he didn't mean to do it. And, you know, we're stronger than ever now as friends. So, you know, friends do upset each other. I might upset one of my friends one day, you know what I mean? It's different when you've got that history there. Like this guy who's just come into my life, he's watching this channel now. I don't know him, right? I've got no history with him. I've got no previous trust history. So if you have previous trust, you know, then it does help trying to forgive the person. But I don't usually forgive people, but I think he was genuinely sorry. And I just felt with his special needs and the way he is and the things he said, I just thought that it was okay to forgive him. I think I'll get over that. But, you know, it's kind of like, it's still a red flag placed, you know, I can't get away from that. It's a red flag that's there. It's already placed. So let's hope to God there's no more that come my way. Because if there is, it's not going to be good, is it, for the future? You know what I mean? But hopefully he's learnt from that. He seems to have done and taken on board everything I said and been really open and honest, like a best friend to me now. And hopefully going forward, he'll just maintain that. Because if he doesn't, I won't be able to be with him, which will be really sad. But it's just the way it is, isn't it? I can't be with someone I don't trust. And like I said, you know, although I'm not, you know, like I'm not interested in an Indian guy in the sense that I'm interested in this guy now, you know, I can always go back to just what I originally was interested in, if you know what I mean, even though I can't find that type of right guy for me. You know, there's always other options, isn't there? You know what I mean? It's important to know that, like, if you get into a really loving, caring relationship, you want to maintain it and it to be forever, it's important that you know that you can find someone else. So yeah. So I'm not right. But someone's like come on here doing disgusting messages, so I'm just getting rid of them. I don't put up with messages, so that Vi person, you can just leave now, right? Out of the chat because I'm not putting up with disgusting messages. Thanks very much. Go to another channel that's full of sex. This is an asexual channel, means I'm absence of sexual attraction. I don't want sex. So if you want sex, go to a sex channel. There's plenty of them. You know, it's not difficult to get a sex channel. Right. What the hell is wrong with people? Yes, sadly, they're all sex mad, aren't they? You know, it's like, I don't get what's so stupid about it as well is these people that come on this channel, like clearly sexual. It's like, if you want sex, just go to a nightclub with all the other people that want sex and just have sex, right? Just keep me out of it. They're just thick. Exactly. It's like, I can get a sexual easily. It's not difficult. I'm not even sexual. Do you know what I mean? It's like, really, these people make me laugh. They're like, oh, so gagging for sex, I haven't had it for ages, I can't get it. It's like, well, I could get it easily and I don't even want it. You can have all of my sex people if you want. You know what I mean? Luckily, most of them don't bother me too much now because I make sure I nip it in the bud. But yeah, it's they just need to try Tinder. Exactly. Tinder, plenty of fat fish, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Tinder's well known for sex, isn't it? I think they've gone now because it's back down to 4 people. Exactly. It's not difficult, is it? I think what's most difficult is being in a long-term, serious, committed relationship. Well, it's not for me, but it is for sexuals. Do you know what I mean? So that's the other thing, you know, you've got to be fully committed and fully into it, you know, not interested in other people, you know. Try Tinder. That's what I mean. Do asexuals really have to teach sexuals what to do? I mean, seriously, I do as well, because it's like they don't even know what good sex is, right? It was on, like, was it on last night's episode, right? I did. There's this guy come on who's a stick his dick in a woman type guy, right? And it's like, I was telling him, it's like, there's no way a woman, like a good quality woman's gonna want a guy like you. Only women who want like one night stands or are gonna get hurt are gonna want a guy like you. Do you know what I mean? So you know, it's just like pathetic, you know. People, you know, don't so I'll show you that one because it's a moderation. Yeah, I get sick of people saying ooh to me or oh, hating sex as a sign of depression, even every frigging time I tell them I'm asexual. Exactly. I mean, asexuality is a sexual attraction, a sexual orientation. It's oh right. There's a lack of sexual attraction. I don't understand why people don't get that, you know. It's like, you know, not everyone's going to be attracted to everything in the world, right? Some people don't like pizza. Some people absolutely can't stand pizza, right? Not everyone loves pizza. Once I tell them I have HSP1, they soon sod off anyway. I don't even say that. I just say I'm not you know, I say I'm asexual. I'm not sexual. I'm not interested in sex. So please go and get the right girl for you. There's plenty to go. You can go to nightclubs and get one. You can go on dating sites. You can search sex groups in Facebook. You can search sex groups wherever. Just go and get whatever you want to do. Good luck to you. Happy days. Do you know what I mean? No, sometimes if I just tell them I'm diseased, they run away like a little girl. I know, but I won't say anything bad about myself just for someone else's sake. I'll just be like, you know, like I'll be like, well, you know, you can basically, you know, go and find a sexual for you. There's plenty out there. No, but I have legit HSV1, haha. So I have nothing to be ashamed of. I don't actually know. HSV1, is that a sexually transmitted disease? Just like those with AIDS or HIV. I don't know what HSV1 is, actually, Jade. I've never heard of it. But maybe that's because I'm herpes simplex virus type 1. And yes, indeed. Oh, right, sexually transmitted disease. I didn't know that. Sorry, honey. I didn't know that about you. So usually you get cold sores, right? Okay. Yeah. So I have it down there. It's all good. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry about that, to hear that. But yeah. So yeah, I'm on medication for it. That's good. That's good. It's called antivirals. I think I've heard of that then. Similar HIV treatment. That's good. Yeah, that's enough to put you off guys for life as well, I expect, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You definitely need an asexual guy. Do you know what I mean? Then that's a good beauty about having a sex-free relationship. You're not, you know, if you're not doing other sexual acts that are going to give you viruses, you know, you can stay clear of AIDS, HIV. It's okay. That's what happens when you sleep around as a result of just hating yourself. Yes, Jade, but today you are going to stop this hating yourself and you're going to do something about it, are you not? Now I can't get anyone to sleep with me when I hate myself. Well, exactly, because you don't really want people to sleep with you, do you? Just for the sake of sleeping with you anyway. I'm going to try. You need to change your life, Jade. Seriously, honey. You'll be a better person for it. Seriously? No, we only just met this year, didn't we? A few months ago, right? Everything happens for a reason, right? I'm in your life for a reason, right? You're watching this video now for a reason, because the universe is put into place for you something that I've told you about, that course to go on. I've told you, you know, we've come to, you know, this is like a therapy session, isn't it? Because we found out that you actually do hate yourself, which is what I said. It all starts with loving yourself, you know, to attract the love you want in your life. I've always hated myself though since I was like 11. It's to do mainly with my Indian background too. Oh yeah, you're Indian background, aren't you? See, Indians in my life just as a friend, female. I know. Sorry, Sandra. You know me. Haha. Yes, I think everything happens for a reason. Exactly. You're on this channel now because everything happens for a reason, right? You know, nothing's coincidental, even though it seems like it. And so you've got to stop hating yourself. You have to say enough is enough and change it. Women suppression. Yeah, but you're not in that life anymore, are you? That's your past life. Yeah, that's why I would never be with an Indian and live in India. And I don't want, you know, I wouldn't want to marry an Indian because I know what they're like, you know? It's kind of like the woman is the housewife and slave. It's like, do one. I'm not being a slave to any guy. Thanks very much. But I'm still very close to my Indian side, obviously, like my dad and stuff. I understand. I understand. You've just got to think though that that's your past, but we aren't close. We can sit in the same room with each other, but just be sat in silence. All right, okay. But you don't have to be suppressed. What you can do is you could start a blog, for example. Blogging really helps therapy wise. You could start a blog of like being a repressed Indian or suppressed Indian and how it made you feel, and help other people help other women in your situation. You know, everyone's got a life purpose. Your life purpose might actually be to help other Indian women to not feel suppressed and how to get out that situation if you've got out that situation. Obviously, in your mind, you're still suppressed, right? Which is because you're living in that past over and over again, that past suppression, right? So that suppression that's going on with your past, it keeps coming up. So you still feel like you're suppressed. When a person feels like they're suppressed, they then want to be aggressive and break free of that. So probably part of your aggression not only comes from the abusive guys you've had, but also from your past where you needed to break free. I don't know if that's right. I have nothing to bring to the table. Do you get what I mean? I have a child out of wedlock. I didn't go to university. I have a dead end job, etc. I do not have a man of the household. Yeah, forced marriage, etc. is something that has always really interested me. And I almost had that happen to me too. It's sad that a lot of Asian culture is like this still. Yeah. So you could help other women see that it's not good because you've got away from that situation. That could be your life purpose, for example. But it doesn't matter what you've done up till now. All that matters is you can change your life, right? Like I've been changing my life since 2012, right? I need to pour more water, sorry. My life's not perfect. Best thing is I have a crazy English and Irish side too. So I follow that more. Well, you know, you might find a guy there's asexual guys in Ireland, for example. There's quite a few in there. I don't know if you knew that. But there's also asexual guys in England as well. If you want to find an asexual person. So, you need to think that just because you're like, I always remember you're exactly Irish accent, you like it, but your current circumstances, right, do not dictate your future. Your current circumstances do not dictate your future. That's what I always remember. Like my finances at the moment are not where I want to be. That is like a major concern of me, right? Mine is huge concern. It's the main issue in my life that needs to be rectified, right? I just met this guy as well who's changing my life. That's obviously I need to adapt to that. I've got place for a person in my life and in my heart already because I already made space for that person. But obviously I'm still getting to know them. So and I have relationship anxiety. So that's kind of hard dealing with that. Because really, a lot of the time, I can't ever be in a relationship, even though I want one, because the anxiety keeps coming back constantly. Because obviously, when I was with an abuser, you get in fight, flight, or flight or freeze mode, don't you? So whenever I think about getting a relationship with, when it's someone who's serious about me as well, and especially, is that my body automatically goes into that survival mode again. It automatically goes into kind of fight, flight, or flee. My stomach starts going off. My body starts my body starts conserving outer energy, and it starts being more anxious in the body and makes me really ill. And so therefore, a lot of the time I walk away. I'm like, I can't be doing with this, and I have to walk away, which is I don't want to do to this person. So it's kind of I have to face my fear head on and think, how can I think of this differently? which is what I was doing this morning, thinking, okay, just like, I know I'm not officially in a relationship with this person yet, but we act like we are. So I'm just thinking, okay, my mind is now saying I'm having a loving, happy, healthy relationship with this person. This person's really good for me. So when I put positive mindset in there, it lowers my anxiety. Plus, I've Skyped them today, so I'm getting to know them better in between seeing them, which is really important. But obviously, this takes time away from my business stuff when I've got to think of business stuff to do with money. So it's like kind of hard to get a balance as well. And that's the thing in relationships. You have to get balance between all the different aspects of your life, between your own health, your wealth, your, family, friends, your partner, your spirit, your soul. You've got like 6 or 7 different lots of areas in your life that you need to try and get in balance and harmony. But you've also got to continuously maintain and sustain the relationship when you got it. We as a society have overcomplicated our lives. Yeah, I mean, there's always been things though in people's lives. That's why there is so much depression and mental health issues. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the depression and mental health issues come from unrealistic expectations, but they also come from a lot of conditioning. Like everyone's conditioned, aren't they, from birth basically to do a 9 to 5 job and to think everyone's heterosexual. That's the conditioning. Everyone's brought into the world to think everyone like is heterosexual. Everyone has to have sex and have a loving, happy, healthy relationship. I struggle with being a single mum, working full time, trying to keep a relationship, see family, etc. But you don't need to focus on the relationship at the moment. The only relationship you need to focus on is with yourself. So instead of the guys you keep getting, you need to forget the guys for a year. And it's going to be hard for you to do that, right? Because you like being in a relationship like I do, really. You like the attention, the feeling of being loved. No relationship is done, just me and little one as always. Yeah. So you have to basically focus on you, the relationship, go out on dates with yourself, go with your daughter out as well. Make sure you spend more extra time there, but with yourself. Go and like if you've got some friends, go out with your female friends on your own and things like that, and go and spend. I self-date. It's really good for the soul. So because if I've like say I like in the past have especially got hyper romantic over guys, right? And it's no go with them, right? In order to stop the hyper romantic cycle for just a little bit, because I'm a naturally hyper romantic person, I will go off to the cinema and get back in touch with my own soul so that I'm not thinking of guys as much and pursuing getting the right guy for me, which will just take ages and years. I have to give myself a break from that, otherwise it's energy draining. I have literally no friends to go out with, and then because of my anxiety, I totally hate going out anywhere on my own. My anxiety manifests anger. It just sucks. Okay, so you've got several issues there that you know what they are. You just need to work through them one by one. Wish I could be like you and just be able to go out on my own, but you can. You have to just do it. You have to say, sod it. I don't give a toss what people think. I'm just going to do it. So you start small. You go to a cafe and you order yourself a cup of tea. And then you go and drink that cup of tea. And for a while, you'll just be really self-conscious. And you'll be like, people are watching me. People are looking at me. But you just block them out. Right? I can go somewhere and completely block out nearly the whole entire room. I train myself. Like I'm good at acting for that reason. Yeah, but then I just get into random fights or arguments with people. That's how angry I get. Well, then you've got to go to anger management if you're getting into random fights and arguments with people you don't even know. Why would you need to get aggressive or angry with people you don't know? Why? They're minding their own business. You mind yours. You don't need to interfere in each other's lives, do you? If you're feeling angry like that, you've got usually if they look at me funny. But you have to realise, or if they say that, you have to realise their problem is not your problem, right? You have to get out of a habit of reacting to everyone around you, because if you do that, your life's not your own. So whatever you are reacting to everyone around you. So I have rejection sensitive dysphoria, so it's mega, mega difficult. Okay. But if you don't look at them as rejecting you, if you change it around your mind thinking they have got a problem themselves, they're not rejecting you. They've got issues going on with them, not you, right? So if they've got issues going on with them, not you, they haven't rejected you. They're just uncomfortable because they can't deal with it themselves. That's their problem. It's not your problem. So therefore, they're not rejecting you. They just can't deal with situations themselves, which means they need to work on themselves. Yeah, I get you. I'm always polite and well-mannered to everyone, but as soon as someone annoys me in some way, that's it. I like 5 to handle. Well, you do need to work on that. You have to go to some counselling. I think you said you're going to a psychotherapist or something, are you? Because, you know, if you're having, you know, like, the only time I've been aggressive is if, you know, I was in that situation where someone's going to physically hurt me, you know, physically hurt me, and I've grabbed hold of them before they can get hold of me. I used to see someone, but I do not trust them any longer. Right? Okay, so you need to find someone else. Read books. There's anger management books. Watch videos on YouTube. Subscribe to YouTubers. I came off all medication on my own a few months ago. I just had enough of it. I'm still on a few meds. Yeah, medication can make you worse for things. So I don't take any meds for fibro. I've got fibromyalgia, as you probably know. I take no medication for it whatsoever. Yeah, a lot of the time medication don't help. It patches over the problem. The root cause of the problem you need to get to, and you need to pull the roots out, because if you don't, you'll just go along your life constantly being aggressive, angry, and hating yourself. God, Sandra, I don't know how you don't. I'm on the highest dose of cocodamol. Yeah, I don't have any any medications. I don't need to. I just get high on life. I block out all the pain with my mind, usually my fibro. Occasionally I'll take ibuprofen or paracetamol if I've got extra pain on top of my usual pain. But I don't usually have that very often, especially at the moment when I'm at home. I used to look after people with fibro who were on a morphine, etc. daily. Thank you. So you know how hard it is to not be on medication. You know, like the whole world nearly is on medication, right? They're not like me, who's jumping full of beans, like doing a 1.5 hour live stream, still talking coherently. Thank you. Thank you, Jade. That's really sweet of you. Yeah. So yeah, I've never taken meds. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia January 2012, and I refused to take medication. Won't put chemicals in my body. I'm like, you know, like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs. I'm like completely toxin free in that way. And I've got loads of food allergies. And what is the huge benefit of all my food allergies and intolerances? Nearly everything I'm allergic to or intolerant to causes more pain for fibro people. I've got a book coming out. I mean, actually, I've done it really, and I haven't finished it totally. Which is all about. It's called How to Manage Fibromyalgia Like a Superhero Rock Star, which I haven't actually published yet, and pretty much finished it in ebook format. And how to have less pain, more energy, and feel happier. That's what the book's about. With fibro. So, because my mum says to me, she goes, "You're not like everyone else with fibro." I'm like, I know that. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yes. And she's like, well, you can't help people. I said, of course I can help people. Because fibro, if you look at, fibro groups, right, the amount of people that are on meds are worse off. And they don't realise that it's the meds causing their other symptoms. So they just get into a cycle. They're like, oh, I'm really in pain, I'm really this, that, and the other. And the more meds you take, the more symptoms you get. And you just have to have another medication for the other medication. That's how medications work. And it pays for you to be on medication. It pays the USA, it pays the NHS. So they want you on medication. That's the shocking truth about it. They want your meds because they get paid for meds. It's a pharmaceutical industry is big business. Big business, especially in America. And in the UK, at the moment, with what's going on with the economy, they are trying to give you the most rubbish tablets possible with all the chemicals you can possibly think, because they give you a cheaper version of it because they don't want to pay out for the extra amount of money for the more expensive versions. Yes, pharmaceutical companies want all the money, especially with cancer treatment and Parkinson's, etc. Yeah, but a lot of, even people with depression, they really, like the difference between someone who has medication not for depression is if you believe, right, if you believe you're depressed and you need medication because it's to do with your mind. So if you believe it, you need it. If you don't, like, I decided I'm not doing counselling anymore. Like, I can still go back to counselling if I want some help and whatever, but I decided I could look after myself better than all of them put together, right? Because I can be my own coach, I can be my own counsellor, I can help myself nowadays. But, it's not like I can't ever go back there if I don't want to. But it's just like, in my experience, I've only ever had, I've had tons of counselling in the past, tons. And I've only ever had 2 counsellors, really, that were any good. And I had, a work coach who, as well. And she was amazing. She was probably the best one. The other 2 counsellors, they were okay. They did some good stuff. But the rest of them, they were rubbish, to be quite honest with you, most of them. And just as I've done cognitive behavioural therapy, cognitive analytical therapy, and one of them I was just getting into, cognitive analytical therapy, after 6 months was just kind of understanding it, starting to, and they stopped it. The cognitive analytical behaviour, they were just getting sheets off the internet, which I could have done myself. And they actually started to bring my depression back. When I got rid of depression, I only had anxiety left. So I had to leave. It was doing me no good. And then obviously the final bit that made me leave the counselling forever so far, I mean, I can still go back to it, but to date was the fact of when I got found out I was asexual. But I said, I went to the person and said, I just can't have sex anymore because I'm not interested in it. I just like kissing and cuddling and don't want the sex. But I was saying to the counsellor, I don't know what to do because I still want to cuddle and kiss and hold hands in a relationship and have a romantic relationship because I'm super romantic. But, I don't want sex and I can't date sexuals anymore because the expectation of sex at the end of the night made me literally want to wet myself. So I didn't know what to do. And then that's when she turned around and said, well, you'll have to have sex in order to keep a good guy, which is practically telling someone to prostitute their body, innit? If you want a good guy, you've got to have sex, It's like, it's disgusting. And so it's horrible. And, so I left after that. That was the last time I've ever been to counselling in 2014. I've never had any counselling since because I thought, I just don't want it. It's disgusting. I mean, she looked at me in the town afterwards and gave me a look. I thought, yeah, I'm looking at you because you should not have been saying that to me. It's bang out of order. I mean, really bang out of order. There's no way a counsellor should be saying that to someone. It was the worst possible thing I could hear in my life. But it did make me go home and Google, I love kissing, not sex. And that's when I found out asexuality. So I've got to be grateful to the person for that. But I asked them to check it out, and they wouldn't look at it. They're like, oh, the NHS can't let us look up such a thing. I'm sure if it was reproduction, they could. But because it was an asexual to do with not having sex, they didn't. How does that even work? It's like on Facebook. They've got so much porn and sex stuff, but you can't even have asexuality in the HTTP address. You cannot do a search for asexual spelled the way it's spelled, asexual. At least you managed to find out what you could identify as after she was such an idiot. Yes, exactly. This is what I mean. Everything happens for a reason, right? Good or bad, even if it's not the reason you think it's for in the first place. So if it wasn't for her being like that, then I wouldn't have found out. If it wasn't for the fact actually my friend upset me, he didn't mean to, but I've been friends with him for a long while, I wouldn't have probably forgiven the guy I'm now seeing an interest in, the British guy, because I don't forgive people usually. My friend is the first time I've ever forgiven someone for my feelings. It was only once he's done it. He didn't mean to, just hurt at the time. But we're really cool now, and he's amazing. He's one of my bestest friends ever. But I might hurt one of my bestest friends back one day by accident. Not back, but I might hurt one of them by accident, hurt their feelings. It happens, But true friends, you can get over it, can't you? But it's different when you've just got someone who's come into your life who you don't know. And it's different when you want a relationship with someone. It is different. It's kind of like trust on a whole new level, I think. Like if you're want to have an intimate relationship with someone, you've got to have even more trust and friendship in a way. Obviously, the friendship's got to be there in the first place, but then you've got to trust them with other things like your physicality, your heart. Your heart. Like, of course, you've got friendship love as well. Well, I have for my best asexual friends, like friendship love for them, but that's completely different to romantic love. And it's like it's like your heart is the most precious thing, and a romantic partner like has your heart in their hand. Obviously you've still got it in your own body, so you still got to look after your own heart yourself, but you're giving them the gift of your love, your heart, and that is really the most vulnerable you can ever get with someone. And that's why it's super scary, and that's why relationships are very, very scary, because you're having the most vulnerable part of yourself left open to attack and vulnerability. But you've just got to remember, if that person turns out to be an asshole, that you walk away. You have to program your mind to be able to do that. I hope they don't let me down. I hope that things are just going to get better and better. And, because there's so much potential there for us to be amazing together, and so much potential for it to be a really good, healthy, long-lasting, loving relationship. And I know they wanted a relationship for a long time, and so have I. So it'd be a shame if that was cocked. I'm not going to cock it up because I'm not going to lie or not tell the truth and stuff like that. I'm not going to say there's going to be times when I don't make cock ups, but my intention is that it won't be a cock up as in the dishonest way, because that's just not on with anyone. There's no need to be dishonest to anyone. There's no need for that, you know. It's just no for me completely, you know. And I'd rather that person walk away than lie to me or be horrible to me, you know what I mean? And if you love the person, you shouldn't need to lie, because you shouldn't be doing anything that's going to really upset them or hurt them anyway. If you've got their best interests at heart and their feelings and their emotions, you know, and you're always behaving yourself and being a responsible adult in the relationship sense, you know, even though I'm like a teenager, still a responsible person. Do you know what I mean? You know, so it's really important that when you're in a relationship, like, you're not single anymore. You've got to actually get into the relationship mindset as well, which is different to being single. Because obviously when you're single, you can behave like slightly differently, can't you? And I don't think you should change all your personality and your behavior, but like if you're single, like, you go out like flirting or whatever, don't you, and like looking at people specifically for a relationship with. But when you've met someone, you're not like in that frame of mind anymore, are you, really? And you're like more dedicated to them, do you know what I mean? So you're not going to go around flirting intentionally with people and stuff like that, or, you know, like, you'll make sure that you behaving yourself, do you know what I mean? Like, if it's the right person, forgiveness is a state of consciousness that recognizes that we are all one and that we're just teaching each other lessons. What have you read that from a YouTube video? Because that's a very interesting, deep, meaningful statement. The reason I don't usually forgive myself, no, it's very good then. You see, Jade, you've got a very kind, loving, spiritual heart in there. See? I'm part of an awakening empath group on Facebook. Aha, okay. I'm an empathetic person. Just people can take advantage of it. And an empathic person as well. You feel each other's pain. You feel other people's pain. It can help yourself. You do psychic readings as well every now and then too. Okay, that's good. You've got some interest going. You see, it's good. Yeah. I mean, it's all one business. Yeah, I'm still not comfortable with that. We're all one business. Even though every spiritual person teaches that we're all one, I don't actually like that idea for me. So I just kind of like, we're all one unless you're a demon. But I like being individual, you see. I'm actually individualist. That's what I am to the core. So in my own ideology, I kind of don't feel comfortable with that analogy. Like, do you know what I mean? No, we're all one as in human. We each have a soul. Yeah, I agree with that, but that's not what all one means. Being all one means you're spiritually connected to everyone in the whole planet universe. This includes murderers, rapists, and everyone in the reality of the things, if you're going deep into it. And quite frankly, I don't like that thought. So I'd rather be an individualist and stand on my own. Like, if I was in a film, right, I'd be one of the rebels that doesn't get brainwashed. Like, there's so many like sci-fi stuff out. There's so many people, right, that in the future they want implants in their brain. Like, that's what the heterosexual guy that I dated the year before last, he wanted an implant in his brain. And he wanted me and every other human to have one. I'm like, not likely. You're not touching my brain, mate. I'd rather be an imperfect human than have an implant in my brain than be controlled by anyone. No one's controlling me and get stuffed. I was born on this planet to have a good, healthy, intelligent brain and can think for myself and be authentic and real. I actually developed something called an embrace your quirky philosophy. So in 2012, in order to help me overcome depression, I developed an embrace your quirky philosophy, which is all about being your true, authentic self, no matter what anyone else says, thinks, or does. That's it. Period. And I've lived by that since 2012. That means in my work, I've lived by that, which causes a lot of issues, because at work, you're supposed to be a robot and tell people what they want to hear and suck up to them. I've used that online, you know, like on this channel, I use it all the time, don't I? Like, loads of people are not going to like what I say. Even a lot of asexuals, they're aromantic asexuals, for example. They're not interested in all the relationship and dating stuff that I talk about, you know. Some of them might be like, well, she's talking so much about relationship and dating. If you watch my channel, you'd know that I also talk about friendship relationships as well. But, you know, I'm still going to talk about what I think is relevant to all of people. In that sense, we are connected to plants, elements, earth, etc. Do you know something, though? I don't really like nature. I'm making a very bold statement now. I'm not really into nature. which is very bizarre, isn't it? Like, I appreciate trees give us oxygen. It's great. But yes, oh my God, Sandra, exactly. Exactly. I'm not into traveling. I'm going to make you walk the dog with me. I used to live in nature all the time. I used to live in the countryside. It wasn't me. I hated it. For me, the countryside's repressing because it's not my personality. It doesn't seem, well, I say it's repressing. It's not really repressing. I can go to the countryside again for a walk every now and again if I really wanted to, but I don't want to. Like, I like going to the quayside. That is my bit of country in the city. So I'm very, like, that's one of my favourite places ever. I love being in Exeter because I like being in Exeter, right? Because in Exeter, I have the quayside. I live 5 minutes walk from the beautiful quayside. And the quayside is amazing. It's like my bit of countryside in the city. But some people spend hours there, right? If I'm on my own, I'll spend, 20 minutes there maybe? If I'm walking along the quayside and going for a walk, yeah, it'll probably take me an hour or whatever. But, I'm not actually a nature person. Like, when I used to be a kid, my parents used to take me in the countryside, show me different things of nature. And I used to miss it all because I used to be more interested in talking about myself and my life than looking around at nature. I've always been like that. And I always will be like that because it's who I am. But again, everyone is taught that nature's so amazing. Nature is amazing, don't get me wrong, in the sense that I know that from biology, trees produce oxygen to help us to live. That is a miraculous thing. That's wonderful. I'm not knocking that. It's great. But give me the choice of living in a city or being out in the countryside. I'll choose a city every single time. I brought up in the countryside. I can't be that type of person. I was miserable, sad, depressed in the countryside. It's not me. That's why I couldn't be with a guy who wants to live in the countryside in a quiet little house somewhere in the countryside. It's one of my worst nightmares. It's like, I don't want to live like that, because it's just too far out in the sticks. It's not who I am. I like to be in a city where I can get to a bus easily, go to the cinema, jump on a bus to go to a zoo, jump on a bus to go to aquarium, jump on a train to go to oh my God, my dream would to be a farmer's wife. Laugh out loud. I don't like that at all. I lived next to a farm for years. Didn't do me any good. It was isolating. I don't actually like empty space, like open space. Like, if I go out in fields and there's loads of empty space, yeah, I make you laugh because I'm being my true authentic self, you see. This is not what people say, is it? People don't go, how many people have you heard online go, I don't like nature as a general rule? Like, I'm not into nature. I'm not really interested in it. How many people? I'm the only person I know that admits that. Because I won't be not myself. I'm here to be me in life, not anyone else. If people don't like me or think I'm talking rubbish, that's fine. No, they don't. You never hear that. That's very true. Exactly. People don't say that, do they? They won't, because everyone is, like, conditioned to behave like everyone else. I say what I think and I mean what I say. I would rather a million times over live in the city because, I'm just a city girl. I don't drive myself, and I need to be able to go out whenever I please, come here or there or everywhere. And I need to be able to go out dancing and, like I said, to theme parks, zoos, aquariums, do all my favourite things. The countryside was so isolating for me. I didn't drive. I had to be driven. If I wanted to go anywhere, it was usually my dad that would drive. My mum doesn't drive. There was a bus, right? And it meant walking to a beach, right? Or just going, I used to take the dog up for a walk all the time because we had dogs. So I used to go, I used to like the dogs. I used to go on my bicycle, but I was so miserable. And now I know part of my misery came from being in that environment. It's no good for me. It's no good. My parents love that life. I don't like that life at all. I don't want the quiet life. I like the noisy, vibrant, energetic, bubbly life, 24/7. Actually, my flat here is very, very quiet, I have to say. Although I love that type of life, my flat here is one of the most quietest flats I've ever, well, it is the quietest flat I've ever lived in my whole life. And I love and adore this flat, right? But I do have the quayside 5 minutes walk from where I live. I have the small town 5 minutes walk from where I live. And I have the city 15 to 20 minutes. So I've got the best of three worlds. The little bit of countryside in my city, a town 5 minutes walk from me, and a train station 5 minutes walk from me. And I've got the main train station as well. It's 25 minutes roughly, half an hour. And there's a train station in town as well. And I've got cinema. I do love the funky curtains in your flat. To be fair, Sandra, I do not blame you liking your flat too. Actually, yeah, these curtains are great. They're not actually mine. They're the landlord's, but they're wonderful. But all the bedding's mine. Like, I've got the, I don't know if you can see that I've got the, I love my flat so much. That's why I've got, I love this. Like, this is Frozen. This is from Disneyland Paris, right? So can you see that? This flat is so beautiful. Like, I rent, right? But to me, it's like it's my home. Like, I was doing this, no one knows really that I've done a trailer for my Breakthrough the Barriers of Redundancy book. It's never actually been aired yet, and it was one of my friends who did a course. She's got frozen nightgowns, frozen toys. Oh yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I got this from Disneyland Paris. It's amazing. But anyway, I did I did a trailer 4 years ago for my Breakthrough the Barriers of Redundancy book, which I acted in my own part, which hasn't been released yet, but I've got it. But yeah, this is great. So and in my flat had to be changed around and made more spacious and minimalistic. I don't like minimalistic usually. And the flat was like being really upset about it. Like the flat's like got its own personality. I've lived here on my own for a long time. I've lived on my own. Like, you probably don't even want to know how long I've lived on my own here for. It's a long time. Long time I've lived on my own. Long time. And so I'm used to living on my own, which I love. I love living on my own. Hi, Philip. Yeah, I know you love Disney. It's great. You want to know how long I've lived on my own? Oh God, how long is it now? 14 years. 4 years I've lived on my own. It's a long time, huh? I've managed to look after myself financially and live on my own for 4 years. Exactly. Oh my God. You know, I like living on my own. I don't want to live with a guy because I love living on my own. Like, I like having my own space. I don't want to be tidying up his underwear. I don't want to be cooking or cleaning for a guy or doing any of that stuff. Not interested in that. I'm not a mother to a guy. You know, if anything, going to be a girlfriend, not a mother, you know? I'm not interested in cooking, cleaning, housework for a guy. I'm not interested in a guy creating clutter in my place. You know, if he wants to come, he can cook for himself, his own food, and clean up after him. I'm not interested. That's a miserable part of life. I've always had my daughter and my dog. If I had a guy, then they're just there. Ha. My cousin, who's a guy, lives with us too. Oh, right. Your cousin lives with you. Wow. That's interesting. You can't marry your cousin, though, can you, in your culture, or can you? Since he's already house trained. Can you marry your cousin? I know in British culture you can marry your second cousin, but you can't marry your first cousin. But he does no cleaning. No way would I want to marry him. Oh, no, you don't want him. God, I'm surprised he's still living with you if he's not cleaning. No, we do not agree with marrying cousins. We are a Sikh. Oh, right, okay. But yeah, if he's not cleaning, oh, God, that's horrible. He's like a brother. I know the difference because I've lived with guys in the past. It's horrible. Don't want that life again. It's horrible. I just want, like to meet. I would like a guy. God has never cleaned, Sandra. He's never cleaned. Oh my God. Can't be doing with that. You know, a guy needs to be able to clean up after himself. I'm not his mother. You know, I have my own life that I enjoy. We house share literally because I couldn't afford the rent any longer. I understand. But that must really pee you off. That can't help your aggression. Do you know what I mean? If you're living in that environment when the guy you're living with is not even given a toss. He has a girlfriend and stuff, so she's over here most of the time too. Well, that doesn't help. Do you know what I mean? That's going to make you feel like he's doing no work, you're doing all the work, and yet he has a girlfriend and just comes and lounges around with her, I'm guessing. I hope she's helping out the housework. But that's why I like living on my own. Because I don't want to share household bills or responsibilities, you know? Because when you're like, in the past when I've lived with a guy, so I was an only child until I was 13, and my dad had first half sister with my stepmom. So me and my cousin have always been close since then, like brother and sister. Okay. So you like having them around, but you wish they were more clean and tidy. That's what I mean. I can't leave. What's that? Are you joking, Sandra? She's like a mummy and daddy's girl. She does sweet. Oh, right. No, I don't wish he lived here anymore, though. Right. Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like you're mothering all of them, which you don't need in your life. You need your own life, don't you? Bless you. You've got a lot to contend with. So you're bound to make you more stressed. But yeah, it's like I've looked after myself for that amount of years on my own. Do you know what I mean? I'm quite self-sufficient. Yeah, I don't want to mother a boy. Like, people think because I like younger guys, right, that I want to be a mother to them. It's like, no way do I want to be a mother. If anyone's going to be older in the relationship, it'll be them, the way they treat me, like, as in they're the older ones look after me, not the other way around. I'm not interested in mothering boys. I just don't want it. I'm like a kid myself, right? I'm up till 4 a.m. usually, and you know what I mean? I don't like doing housework for myself. I'll do the bare minimum that I can to get by. You know, I'll buy paper plates so I don't have to wash up plates. I don't cook vegetables in a pan anymore. I have raw vegetables. so I don't wash any pans up. I don't use the grill pan anymore because I just use like these cake liners, cake tin liners, and I put some foil in top of it, and then I chuck it all away. So I put my food in that, it cooks in the oven. Like if I cook roast potatoes with fish, which I did tonight, so I'll put the fish in there, just fresh fish out of the fridge, fresh fish, piece of fish, because I need that for my fibro. It's very good, the omega-3 oils. I'll put the potatoes on top, and I'll just whack some black pepper on it and put some lemon, squeeze lemon on the fish, black pepper all over the potatoes. They'll just brown naturally, or if they don't, it doesn't matter, they just be a little bit crispy. So it's like your own, you don't put any oil or anything on them. And I'll stick them on a bed of spinach leaves. So I'll just put a whole load of spinach leaves down, and then I'll stick some raw broccoli on. I don't eat red meat. I don't like the smell of red meat. So personally, if a guy comes around my place, I'd rather him didn't bring red meat. He can eat red meat wherever he wants, like do whatever he wants in his own place. I know why I do it, because of the Indian side in me that I mother, because that's what we are meant. But if you aren't married, you usually would have your father or brother live with you. That's one thing I don't, when I was interested in being in a relationship with so it makes sense that he lives with me now. It seems more acceptable culturally, if that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it's hard for you, isn't it? But if you aren't married, you usually would have your father or brother live with you. Oh, right. Okay. That is very different to British culture, like you say. I'd never want to live with my dad in that way. Or I don't have any brothers. I'm an only child as well, or sisters. But yeah, that's really hard. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't be doing with that. I go insane. I don't like sharing household bills with anyone either. I like to have my own money to do my own budget and stuff like that. It's like if a guy comes around to my place, he can buy his own food, he can cook it himself, he can clean it up himself. So my dad rarely visits me, and none of my other cousins have ever visited, nor my aunties, etc., as I do not have an official man of the household. That's how ridiculous it is. That is really ridiculous. I couldn't live in that culture. Like, I've liked foreign guys, like particularly Indian, for years, but I can't live in that culture. Do you know what I mean? It's like no good. I'm the opposite of your culture in a lot of ways. I'm very, like even for British culture, I'm different. Like a lot of guys, even in the UK, expect a female to do housework for them. It's like, I'm not here to do housework in my life. I'm here to look after myself. Yeah, and to do the bare minimum I have to make be a decent person in my own home. But I don't do dusting. See, this is what you would have to come up to if you got in a relationship with an Indian guy. Yeah, which is why I've always run a mile in the end. I'm not interested. I couldn't do it. I won't marry someone. I told them all that. All the Indian guys were interested, so I won't marry. My one's like, why wouldn't you marry? I'm like, well, why would I? That's why I do too. When they go, why don't you want marriage? I said, why would I want marriage? And they're like, go away usually then. Why wouldn't you want marriage? I'm like, what's good about it? Or why wouldn't you? Why would I? Do you know what I mean? It's not me. I'm not being a housewife. Why would I want a 5-day long wedding? Jesus Christ, no thanks. I've actually worn a wedding dress already, if you want to know. I was in a carnival years ago wearing a black wedding dress with white flowers on it. And the person who made my wedding dress for the carnival, it was, used to make dresses for royalty. Yeah, she used to make dresses for like the royal family. And so it's a British wedding dress, black with white roses for a carnival. I wasn't really a bride. I was dressed up like a bride though. And there was 2 other girls. They were both in white, and I was in black in the front. It was nice actually. I liked wearing the dress. It was nice to dress up because I'm like, I've had the wedding now. I've dressed up in the dress. I've no need to get married ever again and deal with all the crap that goes with marriage. Excuse my language. And be in that position. You should wear a sari and show us. I don't wear saris. I don't wear anything like that. That was years ago. It was years ago at a carnival. I don't have the outfit. She took it back. She's a dressmaker, a wedding dressmaker. And it was to show off her dresses in the carnival. I'm just oh, hi Flav, nice to see you. I'm just passing by. That would be so much fun. No Indian dress, haha. Sorry, I don't even sari's Indian though, isn't it? But yeah, I don't, I'm not, I don't need, but it's good because I don't even know what that is really. Oh, bless you. Indian stuff, yeah. But it's like, you know, I don't need to get married. You know, like a lot of women, they want to get married because they want to have the dress on. That's what the real thing is. They like have fantasies about getting married to wear the dress. I'm not interested. You know, I never have that fantasy because I'm like, I've had the dress. It was a beautiful day. I didn't get married to anyone. I just wore the dress. It was great. And I never have to get married in my life. Wonderful. My dad's been married and my mum's been married for 50 years next month. That's a sad thing, is when they spend a fortune on the dress and it's all obsession over the dress. If I ever get married, I won't be in a wedding dress. Not my thing, Juicy. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you can wear what you like, can't you? At least you didn't have to spend thousands on the dress too. No, I gave it back though because it wasn't my dress. But yeah, it's great. I got to be in a wedding dress for a day, feel like a bride for a day. Everyone, I had to wave at all the people. My hair's like going all funny. I had to wave at all the people in the audience. It was a great time. I looked gorgeous in a black dress. It was nice as well because it was black with white roses. I'd rather use the money on opening a dog sanctuary. Yeah, it's good. Or a guinea pig sanctuary in my case. But I don't like marriage, you know, because like women are expected to do loads of things in marriage. And also, if the guy becomes an asshole to you, then, you know, you can't easily leave him, right? He's got you by the, you know, like the legal proverbial, you know, whatevers. Let's just say a farm. No, I'm not interested in farm, but I have thought about guinea pig sanctuary because I'm absolutely guinea pig mad, you know. But at the moment, I'm not having any more guinea pigs. I've got Angel that's on my parents, and she's diabetic. Oh yeah, you want a farm? I don't. It's like that's the last thing I want. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a camping girl either. The British guy was asking me about camping. I'm like, I'm not a camping girl. Oh my god, I'm a creature comforts. I'm like a hotel girl. Like, please, get some reptiles for a change. Oh my god, no. I like my Angel. She's beautiful. I'm going to visit her on Sunday. To be fair, I never camped as an adult. No, I've only ever been in a tent in my parents' garden when I was a kid. That was enough for me. And that was a massive family tent. Yeah, Angel's beautiful, but she's diabetic. She lives with my parents, and her insurance to cover her medication will run out probably at the end of this year. So I need to have an X amount of extra money to pay for her medication. That's not officially camping. It was in my parents' garden. I was in a tent, a family tent. I was outdoors. It was one of those tents, luckily, that had the bottom to it. So it's completely enclosed in. It's no grass. Yeah, that was enough for me. I don't want to do the camping again. I'm not a camping girl. I need my creature comforts. I need a shower. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up, everyone. I appreciate that. I need the shower around me. And that's the thing, you see, when you're getting into a relationship, you really need to be talking about all your hobbies, interests, things you need to do. Like, I don't like traveling abroad. The amount of people on asexual dating sites that like traveling. How about opening a guinea pig hotel along with the sanctuary? You could look after people's piggies when they're on holiday. Oh my God, yes. Yeah. I know, I did think about that actually, but I wouldn't want to give them back. I'd be like, well, I can take better care of them myself, probably. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I already think about that, but I think about other things. But you know, like I've had a lot of problems with guinea pigs. Like every guinea pig I've had's been sick. Every guinea pig I have has something wrong with it, even though it doesn't initially. So since 2011, when I first got guinea pigs, every single guinea pig I had has had operations, got ill. But I think that's a blessing, really, because I think that if they hadn't had me to look after them, people would have put them down. I know they would. Those people in my old job, they're like, if they got that much wrong with them, why don't you just put them to sleep and get another one? I'm like, I'm not like that. I used to spend thousands on my guinea pigs. I haven't got that sort of money, and I got insurance now. Is there just genetically something wrong with the guinea pig? As I had a rat had cancer and had to be put down, and the vet said rats genetically always get cancer. There was a family of 4 guinea pigs I had, Jade. So I bought one from the pet shop who was supposed to, you know, 2 from the pet shop, and one of them was pregnant when I got them, which I didn't know. And then they had 2 babies. And so there's a family of 4 and all of them had genetic problems. And back then I didn't have insurance, and I had luckily quite a lot of savings because I was a manager back then. You know, my life's considerably changed on the opposite end of the financial spectrum. Well, not completely opposite, but much more opposite now of the spectrum, right? And sounds about right for a pet shop. Yep, selling a pregnant animal. It's happened to me twice that as well. When I was a kid at my parents', I got told Patch, who was meant to be a boy, turned out to be a girl and pregnant. And then she had 2 babies. And because my parents were not used to having baby guinea pigs, one of them, one of the babies mated with her again, and she had more babies. A bit of an incest going on there. So yeah. So anyway, this family of 4 that lived here, yeah, I had 2 cages, which you can just see the bottom of one now. But I had 2 cages because I had 4 guinea pigs at one time, and the oldest one, she lived to just be over 3. So yeah. So hang on a minute, I just need to hide someone on this channel, delete their comment because they're being disgusting. I won't have horrible comments. If you're interested in sex, go away to another channel. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, a different one this time, called The Hacker, funnily enough. They love it, don't they, on this channel? But, you know, luckily, now I actually, from a desktop, I can moderate all my own comments. And I automatically have my settings set to moderate for me. Yeah, again, because they all think the word asexual means I'm a sexual person, but I'm not. I'm the opposite. I lack sexual attraction. I'm absence of sexual attraction. So I'm not interested in seeing your dangly bits whatsoever. So just do one and go. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Again, freaks, yeah, exactly. The world's full of them. But I'm not surprised as everyone's conditioned that sex is the be all and end all of life. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And I think it's sad when people sort of talk about being depressed or ill because you don't have sex. It's like, no, actually I'm very healthy because I can live a lot. I'm actually getting sick of it constantly on TV. I don't watch TV though. I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. I have it switched off all the time. The only time I do, it worries me with my 7-year-old. So don't watch it. Don't watch it. Simple as. Everyone has choices in life. Don't take your power back. And don't watch it. Don't blame you. Mine broke 2 weeks ago. Been a good godsend. Exactly. I only ever used it and put it on usually if I want to watch movies. The rest of the time it's off. I'm not interested in TV. It's boring to me as heck. I don't want to waste my life on that rubbish. It's boring. People don't realise how much of their life they actually, yeah, mine was just movies really. It was boring otherwise. But I gave out, like, when you become an entrepreneur, like go in the entrepreneur world, you realise of how much time you waste with hours and hours of TV when you could be developing and growing and learning your mind. Sorry. No, you've got that sex show crap, haven't you, on Channel 4? I don't know because I don't watch it. I know lots of asexuals like Game of Thrones. It makes me feel physically sick seeing the adverts for it on Channel 4 when I was in the middle of watching a movie. Oh, I mean, I have movies on disc, so I don't put the TV on. I buy or get my mum to buy movies on discs. I don't watch crap like Game of Thrones either. Yeah, I know, it's crap, isn't it? Why? Loads of asexuals watch Game of Thrones, right? I'm sat in an asexual meetup. I went round the table. Who watches Games of Thrones? All of them apart from me. I'm like, seriously? It's full of sex and nudity. Why on earth do you want to watch stuff like that? But again, you know, sexual behaviour, sexual attraction is not the same thing. But I mean, seriously, I don't want to watch sex. I don't want to watch nudity. It makes me feel physically sick, that series. Exactly. I know a woman's body, seeing a woman's body naked makes me physically want to throw up. And I spoke about this on this channel a while ago. And it's because, like, I remember a memory from years ago when I went to Centre Parks, right, in the UK. If you don't know what Centre Parks is, it's like, obviously, Jade, you know, but it's like a park with activities, leisure activities, and you get to stay in huts and you have to bicycle everywhere. And you get, like, there was an outdoor jacuzzi, there was outdoor sports, indoors. Even though I'm not into sports per se, they did exercise classes, different types of, like, you can play sport. Like, I'm not into sport, but if I go away to a centre, like, you can play badminton. I don't play by rules. You just smash a shuttlecock around or whatever you call it. Yes. So, you know, it's just like, you know, like I was in the changing room once, like when I went to Centre Parks. Seems I'm bi, so seeing a man or woman's body does not faze me, especially having a background in care and hospital work. But once there's sexual connotations, I physically cringe. Oh, I didn't know you're bi, but that's cool. I don't like seeing a man or woman naked, but if I need to see anyone naked, I'll see a bloke naked because I'm only attracted to blokes. Women, like, seriously make me want to throw up more, but I prefer not to see a guy's genitals. I'm okay with chest now. In 2015 I wasn't, but I'm okay with chest now. I quite like seeing the chest naked now, if it's my partner and me on him on his own. But if he's going around showing the whole world, I don't like that either. I can appreciate anyone's body if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm the opposite of that. I don't like the naked body. I don't appreciate it, because I don't think of it like that. But as in, that's a body, that's nice, no sexual content. No, I don't think that. So that's the opposite. That's what most society, like most asexuals that don't look at bodies in a sexual way, they say that it's just like an art form. I'm not like that at all. I'm the opposite. I don't think a naked body is art form. I think a naked body is private. It's called private bits for a reason, because it should be private and kept covered up. And I get attracted to a guy with clothes on. Like, if clothes start to come off, then I start to get bored. Right, so I'm much more into kissing with clothes on. Actually, I read an article recently about how much more arousing it is with your clothes on, but I already knew that. But I don't really make a big deal about it. But it's true. If you're kissing all around the body with the clothes on, it's far more arousing than it is with the clothes off usually. Because when you got clothes off, you've got the things in front of you, haven't you? It's like, what more do you need to do, really? Not that I'm interested in that. I'm not, but kissing with funny things, I absolutely hate kissing, but I love my bum being touched. Oh yeah, I'm the opposite. Like, I don't really like my bum being touched. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, if I'm kissing, I like the arms around my back, down by my sides, okay, but like, I don't need him touching my breasts, and I don't need him touching my backside. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind sitting on his lap. I don't mind sitting in between his legs and being really close to his bits like that with clothes on. No breath. Yeah, like, he doesn't need to touch my breast, but I am into kissing, licking and sucking the guy's nipples now and chest, but preferably with no chest hair, because it gets in the mouth, doesn't it? No, I won't be sitting on anyone's lap. Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, asexuals are really different in what we need. So I'm happy to sit on a guy's lap. I like that, actually. I like being as close as possible with clothes on, bodies intertwined, but not having my clothes off and not having sex. I know, exactly. Like, that is quite to a lot of asexuals. That's why I'm too sexual in behaviour for a lot of asexuals, but not sexual enough for sexuals. I'm kind of stuck. When you come up against someone and their chest hair pokes you in the eye, yeah, their shirt, it's better to have their shirt on, really. Like, usually I prefer a guy with no chest hair whatsoever. Beautiful, soft, because I shave my arms every day and my legs in the shower to have beautiful, soft skin like that. And like, yes, keep the shirt on at all times. I'm the same, but I don't mind kissing, licking, and sucking a guy's nipples nowadays. I'm quite into that, actually, because the guy usually likes it. But it's better if he's not got hair. I shave my arms too. Asian thing. See, I'm sure I was like with an Asian guy in the past or something, because like, that's really weird, isn't it? Goes back in 3 seconds. See, I thought my soulmate, Indian soulmate, was from a past life, and I was with an Indian guy in the past. Previous Asian reincarnation. Yeah, exactly. It's weird, isn't it? But yeah, I'm not like that culture at all. I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite of my own culture. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I'm the opposite of my parents. My parents have been married 50 years, and my dad is someone, like, his trait, their relationship I would never want. Like, my mum's a housewife, traditional housewife, and my dad's like the worker, the man of the house. It's just like totally 60s power. Do you know what I mean? Like, my mum's like a slave to my dad. I've been a beauty therapist. I have a beauty therapist I see every fortnight. She legit has to wax all of my face, neck, and back. That's how bad it is, especially on white skin. Oh, wow. Gosh. I don't have hair on my back. But that's hard going, isn't it, if you have to do that all the time? I think, quite a lot of women do have hair on their neck sometimes. Yes, us Asian girls too. The mustache thing is amazing. Ha ha ha. Bless you. I think you should get older as a female, but even younger. I've seen a girl in their early 20s in my John Lewis where I used to work, and they've got like hairs on their chin, and she was like only in her very, very early 20s. So I don't really think so much it's to do with age, but I can grow a better mustache than most boyfriends I've had. That's really funny. Well, as you're bi, you could change gender roles, couldn't you? Like, as you're bi, you could be like the guy in the relationship with the female, if you know what I mean. So you could have the mustache, like, do you know what I mean? Exactly. You could do that. You see, you wouldn't have to worry about waxing then. They can love you exactly as you are. You hate the body hair. Yeah, so do I. Hate the arms and legs hair. I don't like it at all. My mum said, like, why do you do that? No one does that. I'm like, because I don't like the hair. Yeah, legs and arms are enough. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, but all these things like have to be discussed, don't they, in a relationship, really, a potential relationship. Like the female region can stay. Yeah, I'm like that as well. We're getting very personal on this channel now, aren't we? Good job we don't care who watches, but you're more anonymous than I am. You're a symbol. I'm just like out to the world here, talking about my private bits. It's no different from my book, really, is it? Do you know what I mean? My Asexual Perspectives book, really. But yes, I'm going into a bit more detail than I usually would. I think I don't actually think I've ever said this on this channel before. It's old. Don't worry about it. It's a bit late now, isn't it? It's really funny though. You're like me in that sense. It's really funny. But, you know, it's like an open, honest adult discussion, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's no point in being kids about things. But apart from when I love being a kid, the rest of the time, woo! So yeah, I find it easier to talk about this stuff as well because I am asexual. Like I find that asexuals find it a lot easier to talk about. Laugh out. Didn't you see the ads recently on Facebook? What ads? I get entrepreneurial ads. Keep the bush adverts. No, because I don't watch stuff like that. So basically what Facebook does is they have pixels. So whatever you watch, like in terms of like YouTube videos and stuff like that, be what you get back on Facebook. So if you're watching porn on YouTube, you'll get all the porn stuff come up in your Facebook feed. If you're watching business stuff on YouTube, you get the business stuff come up on Facebook. There's a pixel. Obviously, if you keep the bush, it decreases, you know, skin irritation, etc. Oh, right. You obviously follow stuff on HSV1, which is why you're getting that up. Yeah, I understand. It's important for you to do that. I thought, right, it's really fun. So I get a lot of adverts about BV, thrush, etc. I understand. It's really important for you to do that. Yeah. So, yeah. So basically, you get a pixel. So whatever you watch on YouTube goes through to Facebook. They work hand in hand. So if a pixel is a little piece of information that gets stuck there and travels along with the internet, whatever you're interested in. So that's how come you get ads relevant to what you've clicked on. So that's why it was so funny when one of my friends was getting something to do with a pea jar, a pea thing. It was to do with camping. I thought, I wonder what you've been reading. But it's obviously like a camping, isn't it? They've looked at somehow. But yeah, no, that's really important. It's important to spread awareness because I'd never heard of it. Exactly. But, you know, I get a lot of business stuff. Like most of the adverts I see are all business stuff. A Shiwi. Yeah, I used to sell them actually when I was manager of Black's Camping and Leisure. I was manager of Black's Camping and Leisure for a year. So it's called a Shiwi for a woman. God, I can't imagine how you can pee in that thing. Do you know what I mean? It goes over your hand, wouldn't it? Jeez. I think it was 80% of the population have HSV1 or HSV2 orally. Yeah, people don't really think about oral sex, do they? But it's important, you know, that people are aware of these things. Because people will think all of the time that it's just... So if you have ever had a cold sore, you will have either strain of herpes or virus in your body. So usually genital herpes is HSV2. All right, so genital herpes is HSV2, but you can rarely catch it as HSV1. So is HSV1 the oral, is it? I think 80% of the population have HSV1 or 2. I was the rare unlucky one. Okay. You can rarely catch it as it is. Usually orally is HSV1. There really needs to be more. HSV2 is usually genital. There really needs to be more information out about this, don't they? Because like people are like, oh, I'm practicing safe sex, I'm having oral sex, but they don't realise the consequences. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like so many people have unprotected sex. There does, because so many people get cold sores. Yeah, I mean, but if you give someone oral, you can give HSV1. I mean, even by kissing, you can still get a thrush in the mouth from kissing. That's why it's important, really, if you can, brush your teeth when you're kissing, brush your tongue as well. Do you know what I mean? You want, like, clean hygiene as much as possible when you're kissing. You can't always do that if you're out in the middle of nowhere or out in the middle of a day trip and you just want to snog. You can't really always do that, can you? A lot of hair care professionals also catch HSV1. Wow. Wow. I did, was health buddy and giving personal care. I was health buddy for community service volunteers, and we had a whole training session on HIV. And we met this person who was supposed to be dead, and they'd been alive for like 17 years despite having HIV, and they can still have a sex with a condom, which I thought was a very risky thing. Do you know what I mean? Like they said, oh yeah, you can still have sex with a condom, but I mean, if the condom splits, you're in trouble, aren't you? Yeah, so you could have cut it that way from personal care. That really sucks if it's looking after someone else in that way, doing your best for other people. Through a delicate skin under the nails. Wow. Like years ago, I had pelvic inflammatory disease and a chest infection. I had pelvic inflammatory disease, chest infections, and low blood pressure all at once. And I didn't realise pelvic inflammatory disease is meant to have been gotten through a sexual transmitted disease. But the guy I was with at the time said he hadn't been with anyone else. But I don't understand if the guy I was with, the only guy I was with, said he hadn't had that. Apart from there was one incident with another guy where something split. So I don't know if that was to do with it. But I only found afterwards it was to do with pelvic inflammatory disease. I only found out that I was in the hospital on morphine, and they overdosed me as well, gave me a double dose, and I was seeing Zippy. I was seeing my ex now, you know. And pelvic inflammatory disease, I don't believe is sexually transmitted. If you look it up though, it says all the same. It says pelvic inflammatory disease is the result of that puts my mind at ease a lot, but it says online that it's a result of a sexually transmitted disease or infection that was never cleared up at the time. That's what it says. I think it can sometimes be through obviously rough sex, etc. But the guy I was with said he hadn't had sex with anyone else unless he was lying. But he did do oral stuff with women, so I'm not sure if that's how I got it, because he used to try oral with me. I've had a chlamydia test though. I'm clear of chlamydia from my first long-term ex. You know, I don't have anything now. I've had, you know, like I'm free of all that stuff. But yeah, that's quite, you know, it's horrible. And I actually did I was on Radio Devon, BBC Radio Devon, talking about sexually transmitted diseases. I've still got the interview of it. Let me tell you about gonorrhea. Feels like you're dying. The pain is worse than a C-section. I haven't had kids, but yeah, that must be disgusting then and horrible for you or them. I think it counts. Right, okay. I haven't had rough sex, I don't think, thank God. There was a guy who did something to me though, but pounced on me. Was absolutely disgusting. Pain is worse than oh God, you've had that as well then. You poor thing. You sound like you've had loads of sexually transmitted diseases. How come you're asexual now then, or am I not allowed to ask you that? I went into hospital admitted with suspected rupture appendix. Wow. God, that's really bad. That's what happens when you hate yourself. So are you actually asexual then, or is it kind of like the stuff that's happened made you asexual in the sense that you can't have sex anymore? So you got little to no interest in doing that. So basically, as I've gotten older, I've realised I've used sex as self-harm. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. So because you hate yourself, you've used that as sense of relief, is it? But it's like self-harming. I mean, if you're making yourself have sex and you don't really want it, need it, then you're like self-harming, aren't you? Because it hurts. Yeah, that's horrible. I need to go to the toilet, but I'm enjoying this conversation. Shall I leave you to like look at my bed while I'm going to the loo, which I don't usually do in a live stream, but it's like 2 hours and 22 minutes and we're having a good conversation here. But as I got fibromyalgia, it means I do need to go to the toilet. Exactly. We're talking about teacups. So what do you expect? Here, have a look at the nice, lovely top. I've never done this before, but it's new, right? You can have a look at the nice frozen thing while I'm going to the loo. Oh, I don't think you can see it, can you? Let me put you down a bit. Whee! Take a look at the nice row while I go to the loo. Right. I've never ever gone to the toilet in a live stream before, people. This is new. I'll be back in a minute talking about teacups. Oh my God. I'm coming back, people. I'm here. That's so funny. That's been the most funniest live stream ever. I saw 3 people watching. Way! Oh, so what have you written here? I've actually got food, so I can have a live foodgasm at the same time. Should be fun. So nice to be back with you all. Right. I like the curtains, to be fair. Like frozen blanket. Recommended retail price $10.99. Is it? I got it from Disneyland Paris. I didn't get it from a Disney store. This was actually at Disneyland Paris. Some of them are exclusive to Disneyland Paris. I think I paid a lot more for that for it. I got this one and another one. So yeah, it's really good. I love it to bits. Like, look at it. I got the sing-along edition of Frozen as well. So yeah, it's a very asexual thing, isn't it, to get? Like, asexuals tend to like our Disney movies and stuff like that. So yeah. It's usually quite dear for Frozen items. No, I have no idea. I was just pretending to be like a QVC saleswoman. Oh, keeping everyone happy while I'm going off the live stream to go toilet, which is the most hilarious thing ever. But when you got to go, you got to go. It's like that will have it on the floor, and I don't really want to have it on the floor in the middle of a live stream. So the fact it's called a live stream, you know, means it could be on the floor, can it? And I need to get more water now. So yeah, so what you were talking about, sexually transmitted diseases, I think it's really important. I think there's, because asexuals in general as well, you know, like don't have sex. I think it's very difficult when they do get in relationships with sexuals and trisex, because a lot of them, they don't even understand this stuff. A lot of asexuals, they don't even know what to do with sex. You know, the amount of people, I mean, I was going to do a book about this, which I haven't actually finished writing, which I started. But I do it as like a comforting thing, have company. Yes, I recently saw someone again for like a quick booty call. But then I realised I shouldn't have done it because I absolutely hated it. But I do it as like a comforting, having company. But once it comes to anyone touching me in any way, it makes me feel sick. Yeah, but why don't you go to cuddle groups or something? Do you know what I mean? So if you really need some company, like obviously there's loads of asexuals around the UK, right? If you can travel or get someone, because cuddling to me is someone I love. Yeah, I agree. That sounds so stupid. Yeah, I agree. Sex cues, nothing. I agree. Actually, I don't go to cuddling groups because I don't agree with it personally. Because I can't just cuddle anyone. You know, I want to cuddle the guy I'm in a relationship with, not strangers who I don't even know. I can't. You know, cuddling for me is absolutely reserved for my guy. That's it. I am that type of person. Cuddling is too intimate to be doing with anyone else. But there are cuddle groups that some asexuals like to go to. The way I see it is the last time I really enjoyed cuddling someone is my ex, who I split up with 3 years ago. And I still talk to him and still love him. Well, was he bad to you or good to you? Do you know what I mean? Was he bad to you or good to you? I mean, could you rekindle that? Or did you split up for a reason indifferent? Okay. You still talk to him and still love him. He's got a girlfriend, right? Well, yeah. So that's a missed opportunity gone that you can't get back. He knows you still love him. So he's got a girlfriend and knows you still love him and still talking to you. That seems a bit like weird, doesn't it? Like, why is he talking? If I call someone, I have flashbacks of him and me. You see, I'm not being funny with you, but if he knows you still love him and you're his ex and he's got a girlfriend now, why is he still talking to you? Yeah, I think he probably knows we still will always have that connection. Well, yeah, exactly. So he's not being totally faithful to the woman he's with, is he really? Exactly. You have no idea, because he's been one of those type of guys that's pretending you're just friends when really he's probably still got some feelings for you. And plus, if he's got a girlfriend and keeping you in his life, it means that if anything happens between him and her, you're there to pick up the pieces and still be there for him. That's what it means. He should have not been funny. No offense to you, but now he's got a girlfriend. He shouldn't be like really talking to his ex like that. I don't know he was still with her. Yeah, it sounds to me like he's having his cake and eating it. You know, he's keeping you as a friend, knowing full well how you feel about him, still connected to you, yet with another girl. I mean, how can he ever totally love a girl if he's still got you in his life? Do you know what I mean? I mean, this is actually, but like, I don't know he was. Like, I find with a lot of Indian guys as well that I've met, they're hung up about their first love, right? They've fallen in love with a woman, right? The woman rejected them, otherwise I wouldn't have let him round. Oh, right. You didn't know he's still with her. You didn't know he's still with her, otherwise you wouldn't have let him round. So if he's coming round to see you and he's got a girlfriend still, what's he doing? He's obviously not really being faithful in his mind to her, is he? 2 years ago. Not anymore. No way, not anymore. Right, okay, fair enough. He's learnt his lesson then, I'm guessing. But you still talk to him, don't you? 3 years now. You just chat. Yeah. Like, I don't really think I'm not friends. Like, there's only one guy that I've ever dated. No, one guy I've dated that I've for a very short time that I'm friends with on Facebook. He's got a girlfriend now, but I only dated him very briefly. And then there's one guy who was my boyfriend for a night years ago that was a friend on Facebook, but he's not even a friend on Facebook, I don't think, anymore. He's a police officer now. And my other ex has ceased all contact, as has all of his family, after me and my friend technically broke into his house. Oh my God, what are you like, Jade? Deary me. Broke into his house. See, I can't be, that's what I mean. I don't get revenge on exes. Whatever they've done to me, that's it. I walk away from them. This was such a funny night, honest to God. You sound so naughty, Jade. Oh my goodness. No, it wasn't revenge. Why did you break into their house then? It was literally a prank. Yeah, but it's not very funny, is it? If you're breaking into someone's house. He left his window open and his side gate, and it was hilarious. I wouldn't have found it funny, if I'm honest. I know we're friends, but I wouldn't have found that funny. Do you know what I mean? I would just be like, why is someone doing that? So he played football for half hour at 2 a.m. What, and decided to smash the window in, or what? Like, to put the football. So who's we? You and the person that had the window open, or what? Oh dear. And then climbed in the house and took all of his indoor plants and put them around the garden, me and my best mate. That is very naughty. I will not condone that behaviour. I accept you've done that, but I cannot agree with it, because it's not something I would do. Well, you obviously had a good time doing it, but I personally wouldn't do that. Greatest time I've had in a long time. All right, that's not my type of thing. I would never do that to someone, because I'm not that way inclined. The best bit, Sandra. Right, okay. And I'm waiting for the best bit then. But yeah, I don't, if you're watching this channel, I don't advocate any crime of any sort. Was when we screamed his name and ran to go back to the car, and I left my bloody keys in the garden, so I couldn't drive us away. So he got the door and saw me. Well, yeah, that probably was the most funniest thing, that he caught you in the act, because you were being, you know, because you shouldn't have been doing it, really, should you? So then I asked to borrow his toilet. Oh, what, Jade? Oh my God. This sounds like something out of a movie. And then you blocked his toilet. This seriously sounds like some movie that you're talking about. Are you sure you've not made this up for the channel because it sounds so good? Drama here. You have a bad IBS. Yeah, I know what IBS is like. Oh dear. Yes. It's probably why you're attracted to bad blokes as well, if you're doing stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I have to screenshot the messages as proof. Well, you're that in detail that, you know, I believe you. But I'm going to eat now in front of you as well. Oh, unless I stop the live stream in a minute, because I have been streaming quite a lot. I'm starting to feel really dizzy now. So I'm probably going to eat some food. Literally the next day I got some text saying, why did you pull all of my sodding plants out in the garden, you idiot? But can you blame them for saying that? Do you know what I mean? You're vandalising their garden. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know we're friends, but I don't condone that behaviour, I have to say. I don't agree with any sort of crime or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's vandalism, isn't it? Oh, good. You don't condone it either. Don't do it, people. It's not right. Good. Yes, we need to be teaching people morals and values on this channel. Because most of the porn and sex channels don't have any, do they? Do you know what I mean? There was a time when I was a big stoner. Oh my God. Don't do drugs. Yes, I'm actually anti-drugs personally myself. I know some asexuals do it, but I'm so anti-drugs. I do not. My ex, well, one of my exes used to have a friend that did that, and my ex used to be into that before I became involved with him in a romantic way. Well, with him sexual way, because he was heterosexual. I didn't know back then I was asexual, but yeah, he was involved in drugs and stuff. Oh no, I can appreciate marijuana, but I cannot smoke anymore due to my bad lungs. I don't appreciate marijuana. I don't appreciate weed. I don't appreciate any drugs whatsoever. I'm totally drug-free girl. Nothing. Diddly squat. I hate that stuff. I've never even tried a cigarette in my life. Oh no, I can appreciate. Oh, any other drugs are bad. All drugs are bad in my opinion. No, I don't have a look at any drugs. I hate drugs. I can't stand it. My ex was involved in drug and crime and stuff before I got with him. I'll never be with a person like that again. They can get stuffed. I'm a drug-free person and a smoke-free person. I don't like putting toxins in my body. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't take drugs. I just get high in life. It's a Native American, old traditional medicine. Like, I would never ever take drugs for pain. Like, you know, those type of drugs, marijuana and stuff, or weed. I would never take that. You know, there's people going, oh, legalize it for pain. It's like, you know, it's just like taking another medication. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like I don't take pharmaceutical drugs. I'm not taking a drug like that. You need to use the power of your mind and change your lifestyle in your life to have less pain. Simple as that, really. But people don't want to go to that length and effort. So yeah, you very, very rarely drink alcohol. I don't smoke anymore. I've never tried a cigarette in my life, thank God. Marijuana has many, many health benefits without the THC being in it. The hallucinogenic. I won't touch it. That's why CBD oil is becoming a big thing here. It's illegal. Yeah, I won't touch it. I don't care how many benefits they tell me it's got. I won't touch it with a barge pole. Like, I went to a body shop party once, right? And they had hemp stuff for the feet. And I started using it. I'm like, what the hell is this? It's got hemp in it. And even beds, you know, you can sell beds in my old job. They've got hemp seeds in them, but I get freaked out by that. I give CBD oil to my dog, helps with her arthritis. Yeah. I couldn't do it though, because my mind's not like that. No, hemp doesn't have any hallucinogenic properties in it. Yeah. The sad thing is a lot of beds have got hemp in them. They've got hemp seeds in them these days. So you're kind of like quite stuck with choices. You know, so I don't know if I'd have to have that in a bed if I got a new bed in the bed, but you know, I don't like anything putting in my body like that. That's one of the things I didn't like about sex either. Like, I don't like some things in my body. That's the problem. But hemp is a close relative of a marijuana plant. Yeah, I know. That's why I freak out. I don't really want anything to do with drugs or near it. But you know what I mean? But it's like to do with sex as well. I don't like things inside me as a general rule. Like, I don't like any toxins. Like, I don't want alcohol in my body. That's toxins. I don't have caffeine. Natural plant-based drugs I can appreciate. Oh yeah, I have natural remedies, homeopathic stuff. Like, I have kelp. I have to take kelp every single day of my life and digestive enzymes to live. I have kelp for low thyroid problem, and I have digestive enzymes for stomach lining problem. And I have that instead of medication from the doctor. So I was on so hypothyroidism. Yeah, so I have underactive thyroid, but instead of being on hormone replacement therapy for the rest of my life, I managed to catch it in time and I have a low TSH level, but when I take kelp, I have to have 6 every day for the rest of my life instead of hormone replacement therapy to keep my thyroxine levels at the medium like it's supposed to be. So the thyroxine hormone, the TSH scale, I was 11. And if I'd have gone 9 or below, then I would have had to be on hormone replacement therapy for the rest of my life. Did loads of research on the internet and found out that iodine, oh wow, you've done well. I've been on, yeah, since 15. Yeah, so I researched it extensively and I found out that iodine is what's lacking. Yeah, you will be on medication all your life, sadly, because you can't go back. So because I started on the kelp, yeah, so basically iodine is in seaweed and that's what kelp is. So I have kelp, I have to have 6 tablets a day, 6 capsules a day. Those are cellulose. So I have 1,200 milligrams a day. Like 1,000 is not enough milligrams for me, so mine must be really low. I've got 1,200, and that is literally, I'm on a high dose of it now. So yeah, no going back. Kelp, seaweed, sexual masonry, full of iodine. Bloody hell, that's a lot. Yeah. So that's what I have to have. The average person should have 1,000 milligrams a day. I have 1,200. And I have to have that a lot. Yeah, every day of my life to live. Because if I came off that, I would be in hospital, as you know. Because if your thyroid stops working or hardly works, you can die. My ex's brother, he was rushed to hospital with like low thyroid. They had to rush him to hospital. It was nearly on the floor, and then they found out that was a problem with him. And then he began medication. But yeah, so I found out from my research that iodine's in kelp, so I have them in place instead. And when I did the test with the doctor again 3 months later, my iodine levels were back up to pretty much normal in the middle. So that's how I found out that it works. And they told me, I told them it works, and they're like, my doctors don't agree with alternative medicine, so they're like, oh yeah, it's just a blip in the system 3 months ago. I thought that's bollocks, but there we go. Excuse my language. And they say, oh yeah, we used to recommend iodine. We used to recommend like like kelp and like iodine. We used to recommend taking that years ago, but we don't do that anymore. Because it's to save money in it. Because if they don't want to pay for a natural product. So I've got to know anything historically medical. Most GPs don't agree with. So yeah, so basically I have to fund all this myself because the pharmacies don't get endorsed then otherwise. Exactly. That's why they don't want you to go alternative medicine. I've been on. I see a home. Well, I used to see a homeopath since 15 years of age when I was diagnosed with allergy to sugar. My worst allergy ever in my whole life. Gets worse, not better. So yeah, it's really important that you have stuff for yourself and you don't go by. See, most people just take what doctors say, a gospel. No, I can't eat chocolate unless it's sugar-free, wheat-free, gluten-free, but I have to eat stuff like this. So this is a bar that has like cocoa in it that tastes like chocolate, and it's literally, seriously, this is like no wheat, no sugar, no gluten. You would not live. Yeah, I don't have wheat, don't have sugar, don't gluten, don't have yeast, don't have spelt, don't have any MSG. But you can get sugar-free, wheat-free, gluten-free, dairy-free chocolate for Easter. I've got 2 chocolate bars, sugar-free. My mum gave me the money, so I've got a whole tub of salted caramel ice cream this year because they had no Easter eggs that I could eat, and I've got a block of mint chocolate and a block of cranberry kiss chocolate. I'm looking forward to it, having those. And so I can spread it out over all the days. Oh, by the way, a Good Friday. It's Good Friday now because it's 2 a.m. in the morning on Good Friday. Happy Easter, everyone that's watching this channel right now. Does taste like chocolate. This tastes like chocolate. This is Lush. This, if you go to Aldi, you can get these. This is made of cocoa powder, hazelnuts, and almonds. So hazelnuts, dates, almonds, cocoa powder, almond oil. Hi, Philip. So yeah, yeah. So it's like, woo, like this is Lush, right? This is Lush. When do I give the Easter eggs out? You can do what you like. I mean, like I can start eating my chocolate ice cream from now onwards because like I'm not going to eat it all in a day, am I? So you can start having some of your Easter stuff now. Like this is Lush. Is it usually Sunday? Sunday or Monday usually, but if you've got loads of them or a lot of chocolate, start up now. See, this is food gasm. Most people give them out Sunday or Monday. But if you give them out Sunday, then you'll usually end up finishing it off on the Monday. But like, I've got 2 blocks of chocolate tea and a whole tub of ice cream, which is lush. I don't usually get that much, but the ice cream like had £2 off it. It's like a special sugar-free, wheat-free, gluten one. Actually, I'll show you quickly. I'll go in my kitchen and get it, just because we're on this live stream. Stay there, people. I can't go very far. I have to put it back because it's ice cream that goes off really quickly. So look at this. This is lush. If you want a food gasm, so if you basically want to get like aroused by food, do some of this. This is Booja Booja salted caramel. It's made of water from reverse osmosis, cashew nuts, sea salt, coconut syrup, and cocoa, deeply rich and dark. Yeah, Booja Booja, it's amazing. It's usually $6.99. I got it for $4.69, so I got like £2.30 off it. They do different flavours. They've not all got cashews in them. You can get vanilla flavour and stuff like that. So just be careful. You have to go and get them from the health shop. This I got from Holland and Barrett. But this is lush. Like, I can't. Well, I'll probably eat some of this. I'll probably eat some of this today, maybe, because I can't eat all of this over Easter. I don't know. I could eat some of this Monday as well. But look, I got this, which is amazing. This is I haven't tried this one. I don't think. Chocolate with peppermint oil, cocoa butter, agave nectar. Oh, that's mad. I didn't know Holland Barrett sold them. Yeah. So this got cocoa butter, wild carob, essential oil, peppermint, cinnamon, Himalayan salt, permitted non-organic natural ingredients, cocoa solids, 65% minimum. And then I got this, which looks lush. This is called Cranberry Kiss. So yes. Yeah, this looks lush. Chocolate with cranberries, ingredients, cocoa butter, rice syrup, cocoa powder, cocoa butter, wild carob, wild cranberries, cinnamon, Himalayan salt, permitted non-organic natural ingredients, cocoa solids, etc. 60% minimum. It's really funny because the health food shop guy, last time we were in there, I had a chocolate called Love Potion. And I think it was a cherry or something, and I had it, and I went to get some more of it because I just had a taste the last time when it was in one of these. He said he sold out, and I said, "Oh, it worked because I've met a British guy now." So your Love Potion chocolate worked on me. I thought that was really funny. I said, "Oh, it's a shame you got sold out because I want to get some for Easter." So I got these two instead. He did me a deal on them actually because I asked him, and I go in there regularly. And I said, "Oh, you know that Love Potion I had last time that I really wanted that he'd sold out of?" I said, "Oh, it worked on me because I found a British guy that I really like." I thought it was funny. I've got to put this away because it'll go off really quickly. That's the thing when it's sugar-free ice cream, allergy-free, they go off really quickly. So you've got to put it back in the freezer really fast. I'm back, people. So yes, I'm getting a bit dizzy now because I need to go and eat more food, I think. Anyway, we've had a good chat tonight, haven't we? I haven't really done. I have gone off the topic quite a bit from what I started, didn't I? About have some food. Yeah, this is lush actually. I like this. It's got bits of nuts in it. It's good to have someone chatting on here, and it's very good to raise awareness of sexually transmitted diseases. It's really important to do that. Oh, I love this. This tastes like chocolate truffle. It's seriously lush. It's like $1.99 for a box of 5. Haha, your face when you eat that. Exactly, it's a foodgasm. Makes your body do things. Like, This is 100%, gazillion percent, billion% better than sex ever. It is. Next time you get tempted for comfort, then you just grab one of these bars. They're much better. Exactly. This is so much better than sex. Seriously. Sex doesn't do anything for me. This touches all the parts of me, but sex does nothing for. And it feels so good, right? This is healthy. Because that's the thing as well I need to talk about in relationships is if you're an asexual that doesn't want sex, is sex repulsed like I am, to actually have sex, that should be your new phrase. Feel like inserting something, eat a chocolate bar. It's an asexual joke. Very good. But seriously, you know, like if you're having sex and you know it's not really part of your soul and you're not really interested in it, you're just kind of doing it, it can be very abusive. It's like self-abuse. It really is. And it's, you know, like if you're asexual, you should always tell the person as well that you're asexual from the beginning, that you're not interested in sex. Because I get a lot of people in my asexual dating groups going, oh, I've met this guy or girl, usually it's guy they're talking about, and they're going, oh, when do I tell them I'm not interested in sex, you know, and I'm asexual? You should always tell them that at the beginning to be fair to them, so they have the opportunity to walk away before they become romantically interested in you, you know? It's fair to you and it's fair to them. You don't want emotions involved if it's not going to work. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Always at the beginning, you know, you get it in there as quick as you can because it saves yourself, both of you, a lot of heartache and pain, you know? You don't need that in your life, you know? The person can't live without sex and you need that. Then you just got to go and part ways, you know, and it wasn't meant to be, and someone else will come in your life, or you're not meant to be with anyone right now, you know? So that's really important. And it's really important to understand the mentality of an asexual person who doesn't want sex, you know? Like to actually do that, it's kind of like forcing themselves to do something they don't want to do. It's like self-abuse, you know, and it's important not to do that, you know? The way, because if you don't have sex, it's much more healthier for the asexual person, and therefore they can love you more as a partner because you're not making them do something or putting pressure on them to do something they don't want to do. So in that way they can be a lot more freer with you and be attracted to you and more soulmate connection with you. I think that's a real difference as well. I think asexual love is very pure without sex. It doesn't make sense because you get horny, but I get aroused, but getting aroused and having a sex drive is not the same as actually but if I decide to act on it, it makes me feel ill. Yeah, that's quite difficult, isn't it? But see, I get high levels of arousal in my body. So when I'm kissing, high levels of arousal, it turns out very sexual behavior. I make all the noises like I'm having sex, but I never want sex. But then on one asexual page, they said that asexuals don't experience sexual attraction. I think that's bullshit because I do. Well, asexuals don't usually. Asexuals don't experience sexual attraction. That's what makes you asexual, because you don't experience sexual attraction. So if you experience sexual attraction and you don't like having sex, you're a sexual person usually that just is sex repulsed, because you can get sex repulsed sexuals or you can get sex repulsed asexuals. For asexuals, yeah, so there is different parts of the asexual spectrum. Obviously you've got the grey asexuals as well. So the grey asexuals, they experience sexual attraction under limited, rare or specific circumstances, or not enough to want to act on it. But for asexual, from my understanding, is you want to have sex with someone, you get into a relationship with them, and that fizzles out, as far as I know. Then you don't want the sex anymore after X amount, like 8 months or something. Is that right? Like I knew of asexual guys, like, oh, I get into these relationships, I want sex, and then all of a sudden, after a few months, I can't do it anymore. I'm really repulsed to do it. Yeah, so basically you want it until after a few times. Yeah, so it is on the asexual spectrum, but like the thing is like you've got pure asexuals who don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever, and then you've got the more sexual end of the asexual spectrum. So when people are saying you're not asexual, it's not that you're not on the asexual spectrum, but you're on this spectrum rather than fully pure asexual, if you know what I mean. Because so what are you? It's up for you to decide, really, obviously. So I kind of fit into a bit of the whole asexual term because I do experience sexual attraction, but I don't want anyone to touch me down there. It's so weird. But you probably asexual, so experience sexual attraction, but not enough to want to act on it then. But you sometimes do act on it, don't you? A few times and do that. So maybe you're you'd definitely be on the grey area. You wouldn't be a pure asexual in the sense of not experiencing asexual attraction. But then I've got grey areas, but I'm not a grey A actually. When you do act on it, you regret it. Hmm. Don't know. There might be some other term for that. I don't know. There's so many different terms with asexuals and asexuality. Just like mind blowing, isn't it? I mean, yeah, from there was a guy in one of my asexual groups, and he's sexual, and he like been with a person for like 8 months, and then all of a sudden he was lost complete interest in having sex and had no sexual attraction for them whatsoever. But it is really confusing, yeah. I mean, like pure asexual is someone who experiences sexual attraction and or has little to no interest in sexual activities. Yeah, so yeah. So you're definitely on the more sexual end of the spectrum. I mean, that's clear because you do want sex sometimes as well. Um, it's difficult to say because obviously you do have, like, for example, heterosexuals. You can get some heterosexuals that are sex repulsed heterosexuals. You feel the need urge, you see. Yeah, that's different. Yeah, so you're on the spectrum, but you're not full blown asexual, if you know what I mean, in the purest form of it. Because you still get it, because asexual doesn't have the need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse. They might still want to do stuff for themselves, and some of them have fantasies and don't want to act it out. So yeah, it's really hard for you. I understand what you're saying. It's very difficult. Asexuality is very huge. Like, it's mind blowing. It's just like, wow, there's so many different types. That's why it's so hard to get a compatible person. Like with me, I have completely high levels of arousal very easily. Like, I don't need to see anything or do anything, just think about kissing, and my body can get aroused quite easily. It's like one day, right, I might be like, God, I've got to have sex. I need to find someone. Okay, that's sexual desire because you're desiring the sex itself rather than sexual attraction. I text around my few guys I know to see if they're free. I need to be with one of them immediately. Once I get there and we do it, I hate it. But is that because the guy's rubbish at doing it, or because you hate the sex itself, or what? Because you can get sex repulsed sexuals. People don't realise that. You can be a heterosexual who's sex repulsed, but you're still not asexual. But you can be a sex repulsed sexual. 50 plus men. Oh my God. I've had sex with 5. That was enough for a lifetime, thank God. Didn't really need all them. Didn't really need anyone. Can't be because they're crap. Wow, you'd be surprised how many men just want to stick it in, wouldn't you? So that's a lot of guys. You used to be an escort, or you used to be, you used to be an escort. 90% of them were crap. You used to be an escort. Wow. Surprising how colourful lives asexuals have lived. Do you know what I mean? I think asexuals have lived some more colourful lives than sexuals. 90% of them crap. That's what I mean. Yeah. I've never done anything like that, but then I wouldn't. But yeah, it's very interesting to hear your story, your true story, obviously. But 50 plus men is a lot. I mean, geez, that is a lot. Bless you. That's a heck of a lot. So I still do phone chat. You do, but it's pretty disgusting. So you do you get paid for that? So are you like, yeah, it's because I'm a hoe. We all know. So do you get paid for the phone sex chat? I presume you do, because there's people making a lot of money. Yeah, just for money. I saw that when I was like researching stuff, that people get paid a lot of money for that. But I was thinking I could never do that. I think unless all the guys were young Indian guys, I wouldn't even want to do that anyway. On webcam chat too, just for money. Oh my god. Makes me feel physically sick. So basically you have it isn't a lot, trust me. Oh god. So is that webcam chat, is that actually having sex, webcam sex as well? See, I didn't even really know what webcam sex was until my sexual friend explained it to me, because I'm like, I'm good at just switching off. Just like with myself, like. So like self-pleasure. Uh-huh. But yeah, but in front of them on the camera, is it? I couldn't do anything like that. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the phone stuff is like better than the video stuff, but it's like he messes with his ding dong. Oh my god. Oh yeah, one of my friends, because I said a little while ago, like, and meanwhile, whatever, I hate it, but I need the money. Oh my god, I couldn't stand that. It made me want to throw up. Oh my god, it's hideous. You hate it. I'm really sorry to hear that you're doing that. Feel you have to do that. It makes you want to as well be sick. Jeez. That's really hard. You have no money, literally. I work full time and still skin. Might have to try budgeting differently, changing your lifestyle or something. Do you know what I mean? Because I've changed my lifestyle quite a lot since I've been made redundant. Like, I don't eat out very often, and when I do, it's usually really cheap food. You tried it all. Okay. I understand. Yeah, I mean, I was having this conversation on here a while ago, like not too long ago, and I said, like someone was talking about prostitution, brought prostitution up, and I said, that's horrible, but if it's a choice between do that and live or don't do that and die, then I think most people would choose to do that. Can't physically escort any longer because I feel sick when I do it. Otherwise, I would still do that. I know you can get jobs online, like filling in surveys and stuff. I don't know if you've thought about doing anything like that and review things and things like that. Sorry, I need to eat because I'm starting to feel really dizzy. No, there's quite a lot of stuff you can do online. Mm. Mm. I know one of the asexuals in one of the groups on Facebook. She's actually a prostitute for a job. Yeah, it's really difficult to tell where you fit in the asexual spectrum. I do understand. What made you think you're asexual in the first place? Because you're repulsed by the sex bit, I guess. Mm. It must be hard for you. You've got a lot of stuff going on, haven't you? When I was 16, I saw a therapist as I was repulsed by sex. I first started having sex at 13. Oh my god. Were you abused at 13 then? They thought there was some childhood trauma, but I don't remember anything pre-11. No, it was consensual at 13, yeah? But it was illegal, because obviously the legal age in the UK for having sex is 16. I was a long-term boyfriend at 13. I started having boyfriends when I was like 14, I think. Well, I had my first boyfriend when I was 6 years old. Yeah, but they still give you contraception, etc. if you're under 16. Better to be safe than sorry, as long as you're over 11. Yeah, I had a first boyfriend when I was 6. But I didn't have sex with him, thank God, at 6 years old. Yeah, that wasn't a good experience. 6 years old either. Um, wow, I've learned a lot about you tonight. Don't know what to say really. It's hard for you, isn't it? Very difficult. But obviously, when I started all of this sudden crying in the middle of sex and tensing up, I was referred to a therapist. Yeah, I mean, I get like that, like, but no one has ever figured it out. Yeah, it's really difficult. Unless you experience sexual desire, but not the sexual attraction. Because sexual desire and sexual attraction can be two separate things. So sexual desire, you desire the sex itself for the sake of sex. You experience both. Right, okay. So do you think you could be a sexual person, like a bisexual person? So I can see one guy and be like, oh my God, I bet he's got a massive whatever. Okay. So you are attracted to the guy's genitals as well. But could you be a sex repulsed bisexual then? Because you can get sexuals that are sex repulsed, but when it comes down to the nitty gritty, it's like a switch. But do you think you're a bisexual sex repulsed person then? So rather than being asexual, you're a bisexual sex repulsed. So I actually hate women's genitals when it comes to being there. Aha. Oh right, okay. But you could be asexual towards women, heterosexual towards guys. Some people identify as two different identities. So they identify, so for example, so I actually hate women's genitalia when it comes to being there. Possibly I prefer men's genitalia, so yeah, I guess. But you could be asexual towards women, and you could be like, if you're romantically attracted towards women, you could be homoromantic towards women, and then you could be heterosexual sex repulsed with guys. Possibly. That's my only explanation I can think of at the moment. And that's obviously in the middle of a live stream for 3 hours off the cuff, over 3 hours. So some people do identify as asexual and not asexual, which is very, very far out. So I could be absolutely dying to be with the guy, fancy him for ages, get to the nitty gritty, and halfway through, I just stop crying, tensing up, kicking them in spiral. So yeah, you sound to me like you're probably with guys a heterosexual sex repulsed person, not actually asexual. Because you still experience the sexual attraction and you want to do sexual activities, but when it comes to actually doing it, so you sound like a heterosexual sex repulsed person. Because you can be sex repulsed even though you're heterosexual. I don't know. I presume you're just, it is the way it is. You're just sex repulsed. It could be trauma, or it could just be the way you are. You just hate sex itself, but you like the idea of it. And you want to act it out. But then you know for a fact, if you say to the doctor, they would be like, there's something wrong with you. I mean, it's possible it could be trauma. It's not, you don't have to rule it completely out, but it's whether you think it's trauma or not, or whether you just think it's your sex repulse because you don't like sex itself. To be honest, it's all down to what you believe. It doesn't really matter what doctors or anyone ever says, does it? I mean, even if you think you're asexual, I mean, you know some different terms that I've heard of, but I don't look into it that much. Don't remember anything. My memory is that bad. I don't even remember what I did yesterday. So childhood wise, I don't know. Looking back, I can see that I was asexual since birth, pretty much. Nudity repulsed since 2 years old. I plain and clear that. But yeah. So you might have had some childhood. I mean, having sex at 13 years of age is probably pretty traumatic, to be honest. I didn't always know my identity. I didn't know I was asexual till 2014. I'm only looking back on it now. I thought I was heterosexual who didn't like sex. So you had sex with a girl for the first time at 7. Oh my God, that's really young. I was with a guy at 6, but I had a boyfriend, but he wanted to look at my private bits and I didn't want to do it. I felt so invaded and felt guilty for absolutely years for that. That was just looking. And it was to do with bribing me as well. He was bribing me for food and stuff. Yeah, I get you. We saw each other for 4 years, me and that girl. See, people don't understand that you can have proper relationships at a very early age. Yeah, I understand. Most children do feel the same way. That's sexual abuse. But you see, I got told by a counsellor, in my case, it was doctors and nurses. Like, I was 17 having counselling and told that the counsellor, when I was 6 years old, this guy who was my boyfriend, wanted to see my private bits, and I didn't want him to do it, but I did it because I needed love that I wasn't really getting elsewhere. And that's how I was, so that's why I was doing that. But I kissed him passionately. Like, I loved the kissing, the snogging, even at 6 years old. I mean, rolling around on a bed, like, kissing him. But when it actually came to, like, him, like, wanting to see my bits, I didn't want to do it. But I was, like, bad back then. I didn't love myself. So it was all about, in order to get love, I had to do that. And they used to bribe me for my food and stuff like that. It was horrible at school. It's like, oh, if you love me and want me to be with you, then you'll give me your food. It was emotional blackmail. So I had abuse from a very early age in relationship 6. That's really hard to get out of. Yeah, so I've told people about that and they don't believe it. Exactly. They don't believe it. They think that because you're 6 years old, it's not a proper relationship. So, excuse me. And yeah, when I told the counsellor, that was it. She's going, well, loads of people play doctors and nurses. And I was like completely invaded. Seriously, I was guilty for years. I actually confessed to my dad that years later because I couldn't cope anymore. I was that traumatized by that incident. He asked me if I wanted to see his bit. I'm like, no, I don't really. I think I just said, oh, if you want, it's up to you. I think counsellors do say that it is natural for children for these ages to get experimental. Yeah, but you see, I'm totally the opposite of that. Like, it's disgusting when the counsellor said that to me, I was so upset. Like, doctors and nurses, it's like, it wasn't right. I know that's wrong. I shouldn't be doing that. It's a guy shouldn't be looking at my private parts. They're mine, it's disgusting and wrong. So I was really traumatized. Thank you, Jade. Thank you for saying that. So bribing you to do anything that's wrong, no matter the age. Well, he wasn't bribing me at that time to do that specific thing, but he was bribing me thereafter with food to keep the relationship going. But at that particular time, I felt pressurized that only I had to do that for him to love me, carry on loving me. Well, I did say yes to it, you see, but I didn't really want to do it. That's the difference, because I felt pressurized into it because I felt he wouldn't love me because I wasn't getting the love at home. Yeah, so he exploited that part of me. Exactly. It is abuse. I know. It's what guys do today, don't they? That's why I love myself implicitly. I don't want to, it's like, it's my bits. Do you mind? Do you know what I mean? It's my private bits. That's what they're for. It's called private for a reason. Emotional and physical abuse, yeah. It's pretty horrible. I love the kissing though. That's why I've known I always like kissing. See, I don't. That's why I've had STDs. Oh yeah, because you don't like the kissing. I love kissing. I could kiss for like hours and hours and hours and hours on end and never want sex in my life. And that's why it's very difficult for me to be with a guy, especially if he's not asexual. Because this year I like kissing like a hobby. Like a hobby to share with my partner. Makes you feel sick. Oh God, it makes me feel like orgasmic. I don't get over sex, but I do get over kissing. So I get high levels of arousal. But it's really hard because my body pounds. Which is really weird if you're asexual. If you're asexual and you experience high levels of arousal, your body pounds and like does its own thing, and your mind's like, I don't want sex. I'm not interested. You only get orgasmic on your own. Oh, I can do that. Well, I can do physical stuff, but this is what's really weird. I actually prefer my boyfriend to touch me down below than myself. Even now that I can do that for myself, I'm good at doing that for myself. Men never get anywhere close to it. I only like that if I'm in a really, really serious, committed relationship with a guy. Yeah, well, my ex used to be good at that for me, actually. But yes, it's weird. I don't want that up a bit, but down there, but with my clothes on, not off, not naked. You're probably thinking, how do you do that now, not naked? There's ways around it. But yeah, it's really weird, but only in a serious, committed relationship. But I don't want to touch him back. So I don't know if you know, in the asexual community, there's people who are rocks and paper and stuff like that. So like, what is it? Rock is someone who likes to be touched, to have like the paper touching them. And you know, like, so the rock goes around the paper, not the other way around. So the rock likes to be touched by the paper, but the paper doesn't like to be touched by the rock. So I did a video about masturbation, mutual masturbation, reciprocated masturbation, and non-reciprocated masturbation on this channel. It's one of the most watched videos, right, on my channel. And you know, some people, they like to have mutual masturbation, some people like to take care of themselves, masturbate on their own, and other people, they like to be masturbated but not masturbate the person back, and vice versa. So I'm kind of the person that, like, down below, only in a serious, committed relationship, I totally trust the person and they know what they're doing, because I have to have it done in a specific way, and then it gets too much for me, I have to tell them to stop. Then I like the guy doing that to me, but not me doing that to guy. But yeah, I can do his top half, so I can kiss, lick, and suck all his nipples and his chest, his top half, and don't want that on me. But then I'm happy for him to do the bottom half, but not me to do his bottom half. I'm like opposites. It's really weird. But I've only found that out since now I was asexual. But I used to have my top half touched, so I don't know if I'd ever change my mind on that. But really, I don't like my breasts being touched like they're mine. Get off. Do you know what I mean? And they get too close. That is so complicated. Exactly. It's so complicated. Now you know why I found it really difficult to get an asexual match at all. Because it's like vice versa. Do you know what I mean? It's like very bizarre. Very bizarre. I know, especially considering I was 6 and what happened when that guy tried to touch me. I hated it. You would have thought I really hate it. As I'm getting older, I'm liking less and less touching. Yes, I don't like as much touching as I don't think I liked it in the first place, really, a lot of it. But you know, like, I don't like my breasts being touched. Like, I was different before the past. But then I think when you realise you're asexual, you know, you start finding out about your body and what you like and what you don't like. Like, I never used to masturbate until I found out I was asexual. Do you think it's safe to say I'm not asexual? I don't want to say yes, but it's like looking possible that you could be a heterosexual, sex repulsed person, and with women, if you don't like, you know, it depends if you like having sex with them as well, really. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know all the terms of asexuality, so you might find something that fits you. You know, if you've found terms yourself, which you've found like 3 before, do you know what I mean? You could still be I mean, I personally would lean on the side that you're not, but yeah, I would say. But what about because for asexual, right, they enjoy it a few times. I like it a few times, or at all anymore. Okay. Yeah, but you experience like the sexual desire though, didn't you? The real sexual desire, like you need sex for the sake of sex itself as well. I noticed. Lithosexual, I always want them to love me. So that doesn't fit me anymore. What about though a sex repulsed heterosexual or sex repulsed bisexual? But you said, you know, you might be asexual to do with women, heterosexual to do with men. Because lithosexual, you usually don't want it to be reciprocated. Exactly, you do want to do the thing, but then that's not asexual anymore. I know. I mean, if I was, you know, I would personally, but I don't know all the asexual terms. You might still find one that fits you, but I would personally say you sound more like you are a bisexual person. Well, specifically, like, you know, with guys, you sound like you're a, you know, like, well, you've told me you're bi, so bisexual person who's sex repulsed, particularly for guys. Like, you want to do it, you have the urge to do it, the need to do it, but when it comes to doing it, you hate it because you're repulsed by the sex itself. I'd love to be able to take a magic pill to just go back to my past and see what's there. Trauma. You could do hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy lets you go back. Women, I'm not so fussed with. It's mainly men I'm with, yeah. So I think you might be a heterosexual, sex repulsed. I tried it, it didn't work. So you could, I mean, the hypnotherapy, right? Okay. I mean, it can only work if you want it to work. I wouldn't let people rule my mind either. So I'm with you on that. But I mean, it is what it is now. So at the end of the day, you have to deal with it now, don't you? But I'd probably say you're a heterosexual, sex repulsed person. You stay off your meds and you was in so much pain. You did the hypnosis. Wow, I wanted it to work so bad and it failed. But you see, I sometimes think there's something more in my past sometimes, but there's not. As far as I know, there's nothing. So I've got all memories going back to when I was like 2. Do you know what I mean? Apart from my dad, oh my God. When I was younger, my dad literally stripped off in front of me. That's why I hate male genitalia, particularly older guys, so badly. It's disgusting. I don't have any of these memories. Yeah, so you might have had something in your past. Oh, my dad used to sleep naked next to me in his bed. Oh my God. Well, that's sexual abuse, isn't it? Surely your dad used to sleep naked next to you in the bed. I mean, that's not normal. That's like bad behaviour. Of course it is. A father doesn't sleep naked next to his child. That's really bad. It's not normal. No, it's wrong. It's a bit like incest, isn't it? Like, one of my exes, he used to go in the shower room with his mother naked. And his relatives warned me, you know what the Dutch are like, they said. Incest, basically. Do you know what I mean? So yes, it's wrong, isn't it? Like my ex he used to tell me, oh, I'll be in the shower naked with my mum in the toilet. And they're both like, they obviously fancied each other. He used to have sex with my stepmom in the same room as I was in when we were in a hotel room abroad. Of course that was abusive. Oh my God, Jade, no wonder. That's disgusting. You used to have sex with your stepmom in the same room as I was in when we were in a hotel room abroad. That's very abusive. Why was your dad naked next to you in a bed? Probably, yes. Your dad was abusing you, sexually abusing you. At pre-11. Well, of course that's abusive and traumatic. Whenever I had little, I didn't like to sleep in my own bed. Yeah, but you don't sleep naked with your dad, do you? It's wrong. And you especially don't. Another time I was about 3 or 4 and I was hiding under a table because him and his friend were watching porn. That's another memory. Well, I'd say all this is trauma. You're a child, right? When you're a child is when you're developing and growing yourself, right? And so if all you're seeing is this sex stuff and this sexual abuse and invasion of space and privacy, then of course that's going to be traumatic. So you said you couldn't remember everything, but we've already talked tonight about, you know, when you were 3 or 4 years old and pre-11, so you can remember stuff. You know, I mean, why were they subjecting a child to that type of thing? One, why was your dad laid next to you naked, which is completely wrong. And 2, why were you having to like be subjected to porn at that age? That's another memory, but that's not all of it though. I don't remember much good parts, you know what I mean? Well, yeah. I'm not surprised that put anyone off sex, really, wouldn't it? Oh, it's disgusting, isn't it? I'm sorry you've had to go through that. I know that about not remembering much good parts. And then if I ever heard my mum having sex with her boyfriend, I remember I would scream in the middle of the night. I hate that noise. I absolutely hate it. If I hear other people doing that, it makes me feel sick. Well, yeah, so you've got all this trauma. That's why I cannot deal with hearing people having sex. It's really traumatic, isn't it? People don't see this side. Like, society never shows you all this side, do they? They glorify sex as something healthy, happy, loving, and it's rubbish. It's horrible. I don't like it. Like the neighbour or whatever. Yeah, I don't like it either. It sounds like abuse, doesn't it? You know, when they're making those like squealing noises. Doesn't it sound like abuse to you? It sounds like, you know, like, I don't actually like my body being out of control. Yeah, it's vile. I absolutely hate my body being out of control. That's if I have any touching down below. I can only have it to a certain extent, because if my body gets out of control, like, I will not tolerate it. I'd want to scream the place down and hurt someone to get away from me. Only my mates are always like, oh, it's normal or whatever. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to hear that. No, I hate it as well. I can't stand it. You know, I hate my body being out of control. That's why people love sex. I can't stand it for that reason. I can't do that. Like with my ex, I used to have to stop it a lot. Like partway through, I'd say to him, I can't do any more sex. And he was really good. He used to stop partway through for me, because I'm like, I can't do it anymore. It's too much. That's why I couldn't live in a flat ever again. Yeah, but luckily where I'm here, there's no. Yeah, it's good he stopped. Actually, he was abusive in every other way, my ex, but apart from sex, he was good at sex. Even though I don't like sex, he was good at that, because he was very attentive to my needs. And he used to think about me a lot. And he used to be kind and caring. The rest of the time, it was a horrible guy, very, very emotionally manipulative, abusive, and horrible. But I'm glad about that. But yeah, like when I moved to live with him somewhere, actually, because I lived with him for like 6 months, where we moved in, it was like paper thin walls, and like above the, your only needs are bring me chocolate and some diamonds, yeah, or food. Yeah, so where we were before, the walls were like paper thin, and like you could hear the people having sex upstairs through the bedroom floor, you know, where I lived back then. And it was just horrible, you know. You know, you used to like hear them having sex upstairs, and it used to make me feel sick. And it's like, I don't want to hear that. It was like you're in the same room as them as well, because the walls were paper, floors were paper thin. But no, this flat's great because I live out the back of the house. There's no one around me. It would make me cry. And I'm talking, I was like 21 when this last happened, hearing them having sex above me. But it sounds like it's from all the trauma of your childhood that you hate that. I mean, 3 and 4 years old, because, you know, if his friend, which was, you know, was watching porn. Does it not make you cry hearing it, or is it just me? I don't like it. It makes me really, it does make me upset, because I feel like it's abuse. Like, I don't like the whimpering. Do you know what I mean? They're like, ah, do you know what I mean? That, oh, sorry, that noise. Do you know what I mean? Sounds like a pining dog who's like dying or something. Do you know what I mean? It's quite horrible. I hate it. It's really horrible. So yeah, I know how you feel. Like, I don't actually cry over it, but luckily I don't hear it very often. But I kind of think it's gross. Do you know what I mean? I don't see why people like it so much. I don't really like something inside me either. It's just a bit horrible. So yeah, I'm really sorry. You've had a lot of trauma in your life. There's no wonder you don't like sex when it comes to doing it, because you probably got all these bad memories associated with it, and it's like abuse, isn't it? So I self-harm after or during sex too. I'll stop pulling my hair out, scratching myself. So I'm guessing asexuals don't do that too. No. I mean, asexuals do self-harm, some of them. But that's because they hate themselves. They cut themselves with knives, some of them. Or scratching myself. You really are a sex repulsed person, and it's probably is to do with the trauma you've had. But that's still fine. So I'm guessing asexuals don't do that. Yeah, it makes me feel sick. So it sounds to me like you're probably a heterosexual, sex repulsed person. If we get wet down there, I feel sick. See, I don't feel sick about that in the past. Like, to me, I guess with my ex, that was quite natural, that bit. I aggressively dry myself with a wet towel. Yeah, I personally didn't have any of that. Like I'll rub my skin to death. Oh God, yeah, you don't want that person's cum anywhere near you, basically, do you? Like, yeah, I get that. God. Rub my skin to death. Nothing, not just that cum, my stuff. Even when I was on a period, I don't like the dampness. Mm, wow. Just think, you poor thing. Self-harming's no good. I mean, the sex obviously isn't good for you. Even if you think about doing it, it's obviously no good for you. It's fine. Just never had it clarified, if that makes sense. I'd say you're a sex repulsed heterosexual who's had childhood trauma that's led like lots of trauma around sexual and sexual stuff. So it's good to hear another fellow asexual, whether they experience it too or not. I had no problem with being wet. In actual fact, my partner used to take care of all that as well at the time. So I had no problem in being wet personally. Yeah, none of I've had five guys have sex with me in total, and I didn't have a problem with any of that. So it's making me actually curl my own toes when you say, "Oh, sorry, I'll stop saying it." Yeah, yeah, because I'm okay with that. I can. That's why I cannot do phone chat probably for ages again. It's okay, laugh out. You can say it. Well, I get wet from not having intercourse. I can do it just through kissing, which I enjoy. Yeah, so I can do the what I just said, like wet, but without even intercourse, which I like. They're trying to talk me on the phone and say, "Oh, are you wet?" and all this other shit, and it's like, "Oh, just shut up." Oh God, I'd hate that though. Especially, see, I hate being spontaneously wet like that. Yeah, it's disgusting. Oh, what you mean with me? Like, I just got used to it. Like, I like it like that when I'm kissing a guy who I'm in a relationship with. Because it feels good. It like feels release without actually the intercourse, because I hate the intercourse like so much. Like I hate the intercourse. And it's like, because I hate the intercourse that much. It's like to do that is natural. No, no, no. If I start getting like that with kissing, I feel ill. I have to stop kissing in turn. Kissing is very rare anyway for me. I don't like fluid anywhere. Oh wow. Yeah, no. I don't have any problem. It feels good to me to do that and not have sex. So like the release of fluid in a natural way through kissing with clothes on is feels good. Like sometimes it feels a bit weird being aroused as an asexual person. Exchanging fluid feels odd, right? Yeah, but I'm not exchanging fluids with them because I'm clothed. Do you see what I mean? It's coming out of me naturally with them still clothed and I'm still clothed. So even when I was trying to get pregnant, a feeling of cum made me feel sick. Yeah, I get you, but saliva. Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind mixing salivas at all. I'm cool about that type of fluid. Um, yeah, I can understand that made you feel sick having that inside you. It didn't actually make me feel sick, that, with my ex. Yeah, so when I did that with my ex, being very personal, it didn't make me feel it, like, with the long-term ex I was with, it didn't make me feel bad, I don't think. Like, it's a weird feeling though. Like, it's a trickling feeling, isn't it? That's not actually your own, so it does feel weird. But that's good that it didn't make you feel bad. Yeah, I don't remember it making me feel really bad for my ex. I remember it feeling weird that it's trickling inside me and I was worried I was gonna get pregnant. Um, but actually, yeah, my ex, that's why when people are say about you haven't had good sex like I did with him, it happens nowadays. I do it for the guy to just hurry up and finish, and it makes me feel so sick and dirty when it's there. See, I only do it if I'm in a long-term, serious and committed relationship with someone. I don't want to do it outside of that. So, because I would feel like you if I'd done that in a relationship with a guy I just hooked up with, because I don't do hooking up. Do you know what I mean? And he wasn't wearing a condom. Like, or there's only one guy I've done it naturally with, which was my long-term ex. I think that's the only guy I've had it naturally with. Everyone else was condoms. So it had a barrier there. So I didn't feel like that. But with the long-term ex I had, I was with him for so many years that it just became kind of, I guess, natural for him to do that. But that's why we didn't have sex though for 2 or 3 months, because he wanted to do it natural, and I was worried about getting pregnant. And contraception doesn't always work if you've got a poorly tummy. So I was so paranoid that I might actually, like, get pregnant or stuff. You know what I mean? It used to freak me out. So that's why we didn't do it for 2 or 3 months sometimes, and that would shoot me fine. If it happens nowadays, I do it for the guy. Just hurry up. I've had too much unprotected sex. Even looking at condoms makes me feel sick. Feeling them makes me feel sick. Right? Okay. Yeah, I understand that. Worrying about becoming pregnant is always off-putting, but I always stay on the mini pill as I hate periods. I was on the mini pill. I was, well, not the mini pill, but the pill for years. Excuse me, and I was on that for the same sort of reason. But also it dualed up as pregnancy protection. But not everyone, is safe with just that. One of my friends, she got pregnant at 17 years old with the daughter that she's still got, and she had the daughter, 17 years old, and she was on the pill and it didn't work. So just because you're on the pill doesn't mean to say it worked. And because I knew that, I was paranoid so much about becoming pregnant. I still got pregnancy testing kits in my old ones in my chest of drawers that are way out of date, but I want to keep them in case I ever do a video or training for people, because I'm going to do some asexual courses. So I might need to do some sex training stuff with people, because, like, for asexuals, because a lot of asexuals don't even know what they're doing. Like, I get asexuals like in forums and groups, and they're like, I don't know where I put my hands. I don't know what I'm meant to be doing. If I want to try it, what do I do? When you're 18, I had my daughter. I was pregnant again at, I think, 22. I had the morning after pill twice. Still got pregnant. Yeah, I think it's wicked that you're doing the courses. Thank you. But yeah, I need to write more books as well. But it's hard because I kind of want to do a book for asexuals about sex to help people who are new to it, to make sure it's safe and they've considered all different aspects. But like, I hate sex. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've got to write stuff about sex when I hate sex. But I like, like, I like arousal sometimes. Like, I like loads of kissing to feel aroused. But sometimes you'll help me. Oh, bless you. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah. Yeah, you can. I mean, I started writing the book actually a couple of years ago. I can tell you crap about sex. I just hate sex. Yeah, I started the book ages ago actually. But I never finished it. 2017 I started it. But I need to do courses next, because I promised them I'll start doing courses in 2000 and sorry, May this year. Like, I've got a meetup one, asexual meetup I want to do first. People want more in depth than I did at the conference, so I've got to do that. But yeah, it's kind of like, you know, I hate sex as well. I don't like the noise of it. I don't like, you know. Thank you. Yeah, I've got a lot of big things coming. I've got other business stuff on the go as well. It's got nothing to do with asexuals, but you know, the trouble is sex sells so much as well. So it's kind of like I thought of something I could do, which will be sexually rated, but not full on sex to do with arousal, because I'm good at actually kissing. So it's best to say I'm not asexual. It's just weird, laugh out loud. Possibly, yeah. I mean, I don't want to tell you that, do you know what I mean? But so basically, I know how to, like, even though I'm asexual, I know to how to. What would that be about? No, Sandra, be honest. I like brutal honesty. What do you mean with what I'm thinking about to do with sexual stuff? Like, I know how to get a guy aroused, for example, through kissing in different places. So I wanted to do. So I'm thinking about doing a course for sexuals. Well, it could be anyone on the end of the asexual spectrum that's in the more sexual end, or for sexuals, on how to make, you know, your partner aroused and be in ecstasy without intercourse needed, you know. But a lot of people want to do the intercourse afterwards. But there's like loads of erogenous things, aren't there, that you can kiss that make, you know, that can basically make the person wet throughout even intercourse. So it's kind of like passion without sex, if you know what I mean. But sexuals will obviously take it the stage further. So that's what I thought about doing, like training course on that, because there's so many guys that just don't have a clue. They like want to stick it in all the time. They don't have a clue about making love. It's all to do with sex. And even though I don't want making love and sex, to me is the exact same thing in the sense of the essence of the stick it in bit. The making love's all about the sensual touching, isn't it? And even though I don't want to be touched naked, I know how to make a guy feel great with the way to kiss him, you know, where to be touched and all that lot, female and male. So I wanted to do a course in that because I need money coming in, you know, and I'm good at stuff like that. I'm good at kissing. I'm good at being the arousal stuff with my clothes on, with passion without sex, basically. Do you know what I mean? And I thought there's a market for that, passion without sex. But obviously for sexuals, it'll lead on to sex because it'll be full part of the foreplay for them, won't it? Whereas with me, I don't want that. I just want the kissing. But you know, there's a lot. So you know, I think as I've already thought of the passion without sex. Yeah, exactly. You like, I did actually do a video called Passion Without Sex. It's if you Google Passion Without Sex, you'll see my video. So yeah, I like that too because it's very weird. Cause with me, I can be extremely passionate without sex, like with my clothes on though, and that's kind of freaks me out sometimes. Sometimes I like it, like the arousal feeling in my body. Sometimes I like it, feels great, and other times I just want to run away and I hate it, and it makes me feel too sexual, and I want to run away and cuddle my cuddly toys and just chill out with a movie or something because it's too sexual. Which why it's good is I'm quite scared about getting into a relationship because of all the kissing I like to do. Like my kissing is sexual in behaviour, right? If I kiss, I make all the sounds. When you say things like that, it reminds me of like when I was a teenager. Yeah, that's the type of thing I want. A teenager style relationship, 24/7, 365 days a year. It's exactly the relationship I love. The kissing, the cuddling. You're at the middle ground when you want to do more, but you know you can't yet. Exactly. But in my case, I don't actually want to do the more. So that's exactly what I like, the teenager thing. So it's like you're at the middle ground when you want to do more, but you know you can't yet. But with me, it's like I don't want to do more and I know I can't, but I like doing that as far as it goes. Do you know what I mean? It's really exciting, arousing, orgasmic in and of its own right. The kissing with the clothes on. And you can't take your clothes off because a teenager wouldn't go around taking their clothes off, really. Do you know what I mean? Usually. They'd be wanting to cover up because they're not at that sexual stage yet of getting to the clothes ripping off. So yeah, that's why I mean. So that's why I say I like a teenager style relationship. I like sitting on the guy's lap. I like cuddling. I can be really close, really full on close with clothes on, because to me that's like when I was 15 years old, and I liked that kind of relationship, the really exciting kissing, cuddling, passion without sex. It's exactly what I like, you know. So it's just amazing feeling. But then, you know, because I'm asexual, sometimes the idea of it starts making me feel too sexual. Like, what if I was to kiss the guy and just get my body just goes out of control? Because my body can get really out of control kissing, and that scares me a lot, you know. Because my arousal levels are so easily to get high without even doing anything. I don't even have to be kissing. I can just be thinking about kissing, and I get highly aroused in my body. So it's really weird. So sometimes I like the arousal feeling, other times I just want to run and hide. And it's like it's too sexual for me, you know. But I love kissing. I adore it so much, like a hobby, like an addiction. I'm nearly kissing at it, but I'm not, because I can't just kiss anyone, and I prefer to kiss someone I'm in a relationship with, not someone I'm not in a relationship with. You know, like serious and committed relationship. I feel more safe, secure, and happy about that if I'm on a long-term committed relationship. Like, to me, the kissing is equivalent of people's sex. So sex is like the most intimate thing you can do with someone. So, you know, I could only do that if I was in a long-term committed relationship with someone, but I don't want to do that anymore. That's like it is with me with kissing, the real lots of kissing. I want to be in a relationship, really, before I do that, till I feel safe and secure that guy's just not gonna give me a one night kissing stand, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, like a one night stand with sex, but a one night kissing stand, like I'm snogging your mouth off and then I'm leaving you. It's a bit like mouth rape then. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like I want it to be in a long term, serious, committed relationship with the kissing, so I feel secure that I can kiss as passionate as I want and still feel safe, providing they don't want sex with me, which most heterosexuals do. So yeah, because most heterosexuals, if I kiss them 5 minutes, they want sex with me. I've even text a guy, like even asexual guys, and told them the way I like to kiss, and they get aroused by it. They get a hard on over the fact that I've said how I like to kiss, even though they're asexual, obviously on the more sexual end of the spectrum by the look of it. But yeah, so that's pretty weird. Do you know what I mean? Like a bit freaky. Anyway, I think this live stream's got very, very complex now. So basically, to conclude, before I go off, I just want to conclude that, yeah, so if you're looking to get into a long-term, committed, serious relationship, you need to have the right mindset in the first place to want to make it work, want a serious, committed relationship, think it's a full-time job, be prepared to put the time, energy, and effort into the person, have clear, honest, open communication at all times, tell people if they are sex repulsed and not asexual to contact you. Oh, bless you. Tell people if they are sex repulsed and non-asexual to contact you. Oh, bless you. So I think there might be some people though that have crept into asexual groups anyway that are actually sex repulsed sexual rather than sex repulsed asexual, you know, because I think people get confused anyway. So yeah, but I'm sure there's probably groups somewhere of people like that. If you, it's probably on asexuality.org. There probably are in asexuality.org, which you must know is a big, like, biggest. You're on asexuality.org. There must be some people on there that's like that, that's gone on there. So it's probably as close. Yeah. They're probably the ones killing themselves. Yeah. You have a Google. Yeah. I would. You know, it's important though that for compatibility, you talk about your sexuality up front with the person. Like I mentioned, you know, so you'll have the mindset, the right attitude, the right energy, the right effort for relationship, and to obviously respect each other and everything about what the person likes and doesn't like. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to conclude for tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you on, Jade. It's been a traumatic pleasure to have you on, but traumatic for you to have to go through that. So I'm sure. Yeah. Thank you. Good night to you too. Anyway, if you just tuned into this channel, you didn't bother me. It's nice that you'd be able to get it out. It's quite cathartic, isn't it? It's like a therapy session in and of its own right. And I'm sure that if anyone else watches this channel, they'll be able to relate to some of what you're saying. So it should help other people as well. We've had a really frank, honest, open discussion tonight. Yeah, it's like therapy. Like, you've remembered really stuff like going back 3 or 4 years old, but before you were saying you couldn't remember anything. So you've remembered like loads of that trauma stuff. So now you know where the problem's coming from. Do you know what I mean? It's good for you to have done that. I'm happy I was here for you. It's good. You know, we're all here for you. So, yeah, big hugs from me. Big hugs. Thank you, Jade, for tuning in. Thanks to everyone else who's watched tonight. Thanks, Philip. And Heather was watching earlier. Lewis was watching earlier. And some other people were watching. Anyway, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button down below. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now, post a new video, because obviously you can ask me questions on the live stream straight away and get help and support right away, all for free. And don't forget to, I've already mentioned hit the bell icon. You get notified of every time I go live. I've just repeated myself. But yeah, until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's, and I'll see you on the next live stream or video. Thank you so much, Jade. I'm glad you appreciate it. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here with me. Big hugs to you. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care. Have a good night. Oh, I've been live streaming for how many minutes? 3 hours and 50 minutes. Woohoo! World record for me. Take care. Lots of love. Bye, Jade. Bye, everyone else. Bye.